Welcome to the Split Take podcast. This is a very special episode. We're doing our top 10 movies of 2021. Yeah, top movies. We're going to be discussing a bunch of stuff. This is kind of late. We're doing this in April, so the Oscars, all the awards season. It's just in time.
It gave us time to reflect.
Yeah. Honestly, I find it enormously frustrating every year when like December 20th rolls around and people are already publishing their best of the year list. I'm like, how the fuck have you seen everything?
They
you haven't.
Yeah,
Stop.
Seen everything and
I
let
still
it
haven't
sit.
seen everything.
Yeah, some things need multiple rewatches too.
Yeah, I have at least like 8 movies left on my 2021 watch list. Like they're not movies that I was like I have to go see in order to do this episode. I got all those out of the way, thank goodness. But still, there are movies left that I'm like, I'd like to watch, get around to if I can.
Yeah, same. I have 2, and I'm so mad I couldn't get to them.
I have literally 1, and I'm very pissed. But whatever.
And we'll get into that shortly. 2 points of interest. 1, we have special guests today because it's an extra special podcast. You've already heard from them already. Our good friend Brandon Sanju, who's been on the podcast before, and welcoming for the first time DJ to the podcast. Welcome.
Hello. Brandon, I was expecting you to wave for me, and then I was going to wave for you.
I'm supposed to wave for you.
Long time listener,
DJ
first time caller.
Yeah, they hate my what was it, Batman and Zack Snyder and
that's true.
One other one. I can't remember.
What was it?
We did. Was it 2020? I can't remember. We did. I think I've been on 3 episodes.
No, that was
you definitely
Nick's
have
podcast.
Oh, that was Nick's, huh?
Yeah. It might have been one of like the earlier ones.
I think it was like Adventures in filmmaking or something.
Maybe. We also did a best of the decade episode, the year that Nick did the. I don't know if you were part of that, Sanju. That was a while back though.
Yeah, maybe this is my 3rd one. Anyway,
no,
I'm glad to be back.
We've done so many. We're approaching 100, so that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a little bit.
So DJ and Sanju, Sanju has a YouTube channel, and that'll be linked in the description. DJ, do you have anything that I should be pointing people towards?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of TikToks lately. But I mean, I don't care if that's like I'm not trying to blow up or anything. If you want to go to my TikTok, find me. We'll link it. YouTube. I haven't done that in forever. But
look, we only have like a couple hundred subscribers, so no one's gonna be blowing up here.
Okay.
Yeah. And a last note, I am going to be going on a short vacation soon, and then filming a feature film with the good people in this call. So this is our first official Split Take hiatus. We've gone on plenty unannounced hiatuses before where I just haven't edited or released episodes, but this is I will attempt to get this, not attempt. I will edit this one before I leave for Ohio. And then after that, it'll kind of be silent for a good month. And then maybe Chandler and I will be together in person.
We still have to do the one that DJ watched the movies for.
Oh, that's true.
It's okay if you don't. I don't care.
No. We'll do it. Okay, but just because we record something doesn't mean it's going to be
the timeline's all fucked up.
Yeah, it is. It is even theoretically possible that we record that later in the week. And I edit that one first, and then this comes out after that one.
In that case, just redact everything that I said.
The Split Take lore is very deep canon that you have to follow.
The production order is all messed up.
It's not even a deep canon; it's a clusterfuck.
It makes the Evangelion timeline look like Lord of the Rings. It's all over the place.
Brandon, the way your webcam is. It looks like you're just gaming so hard. It's like above you and you're just staring at your screen.
Yeah, it's like I just got this webcam and it's I don't know, the monitor mount is very weird. Like it's just like it leans on it.
It's so funny.
It's so high.
Yeah, you can't like adjust it. So I've been trying to mess with it, but I said
your headphones look like Leia's hair.
Gotta do.
I've heard that before. Yeah, I'll take it. I got Carrie. Oh, you can't. See
I mean, all headphones kind of. All headphones kind of look like that. Yeah.
Oh, that screwed up the lighting somehow.
All right, so, that is all out of the way. So to begin our discussion on our favorite movies, I will say that we have all watched varying amounts of movies from the year 2021, and all of our lists on Letterboxd will be located
Private.
below.
Oh,
well, they are private currently. Yes,
true.
that's true. But when this is published, I will link them all below so you can see the full list, because we're not going to list out everything we've watched. But I am curious as to what we all didn't get to that we were interested in watching. I know the big blind spot for me was Memoria, which it just hasn't been
see that today, maybe.
Available to watch in theaters, because obviously it has a very interesting distribution scheme, and I will
which they're also not really adhering to. Can I say?
Yeah. Are they not?
They went back on it a little bit.
No, because I know people who have seen it in Chicago this weekend while it's also playing here.
Yeah, they changed
so
it.
It's not
originally it was just one, but now they just expanded. But it's still only going to go to different cities, and
yeah, which is just dumb.
And never be on Blu-ray or streaming, I guess. Ever.
Whatever. Thanks are pitched upon.
I can't wait for like the black market copies of Memoria. Peach at Pong.
There has to be a torrent out now. I just refuse.
I'm sure.
Yeah. It's like a theater. Someone was recording it on their iPhone in the theater.
Oh God.
That's the only way you'll be able to watch it ever.
The way it was meant to be seen.
Yes. So yeah, anything you guys didn't get to?
Yeah, there's a couple that I'm bummed I missed. Titan, I wanted to see, didn't get around to it. I'm sorry, Chandler. I know you wanted me to watch
Cringe.
That. And let's see, Coda. Didn't see Coda, even though it won Best Picture. So those are probably the two big ones.
It's kind of an obligation now.
I know.
If it didn't win Best Picture, it probably would not have been watched.
Yeah.
I should have. I watched a couple movies that I'll mention instead. So that's good. At least they made the top 10.
I had Mad God and Petite Maman, and I was relying on Chandler to give it to me.
Damn it, Chandler.
Fucked up.
And then Memoria, I don't think it's going to make my top 10, but I'm probably going to see it anyway.
Slander.
So I didn't.
Well,
it just doesn't seem like my kind of movie.
Yeah,
like I'm still interested in seeing it, but.
Chandler, anything you didn't get around to seeing?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Don't Look Up. I'm a little bummed.
Damn.
But I missed my chance on that one.
Yeah.
The only
that's cracking your top 10.
The only one that I really wanted to see and I really gave an effort yesterday was the new Evangelion movie. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. And I knew I needed to see one more before that, and I watched it yesterday. I'm like, this sucks.
Oh, no.
And I'm sure the last one's going to be good, but I just like, it's 2.5 hours. I already watched a movie before. Whatever. I'm going to say that's at least going to be my top 15. I have faith, but that's pretty much it. Humans also looked kind of interesting and hit the road, but I don't know. I'm not a completionist when it comes to like yearly movies. I probably should have watched The Lost Daughter, but whatever.
Oh, you should have.
Probably should have.
You know, the other one, Hand of God, was what I wanted. I wanted to watch that too, but
should have seen
it.
And
A Hero, that one too looked pretty good.
A lot of movies. Yeah. How many movies do we end up having on our Letterboxd lists?
List for 2021?
Yeah,
36 for me. So
I'm at 61.
Jesus.
It's not even my highest.
Yeah, my highest I think is 2019 or 2017.
35.
Base Chandler.
It's not too bad.
And I have 61 as well. Actually, it's technically almost 62, as I am 2/3 of the way through a documentary that I started last night. But
which one?
Ascension.
Oh, I heard that. They got nominated, right?
Yeah, I think it got nominated for the best doc Oscar. It's actually really interesting. It's a Oscar, the Oscar. Yeah, it's about China, and it's an observational documentary, and it's just about like everyday lives of people and workers in China, and it's actually really interesting and kind of horrifying. Really gets across the scale of production of the waste that China produces for us. and the people, the humans that are behind all of these seemingly innocuous throwaway things like water bottles and soap dispensers. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
No more using soap.
Nope.
Done.
There's a certain amount of contempt I had for the waste that humanity has while I was watching the movie. Very interesting part too. There's a good 5-minute section where they observe a factory making sex dolls, and that was not at all what I expected to see.
Adding to watch
interesting.
list.
It was an interesting interesting process.
Do they have a testing room?
Unfortunately, no, we didn't get to see the testing room. But if you're into like how things are made and like the machinery and like the why or the how behind like everyday things, it was an interesting doc.
Cool.
Yeah.
I watched a really interesting documentary too on murder hornets. That one scare we had during COVID. Yeah. I liked it actually. It was really cool.
What was it called?
Attack of the Murder Hornets. And they played it like a horror movie, like a monster movie. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Old Universal monster movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I didn't really watch that many docs this year. I should have.
I watched quite a few. The Rescue, I want to mention. That was really good.
I think I watched any.
Yeah, really? Not any?
No.
Ah, come on. You gotta at least watch one. Watch Summer of Soul.
The closest thing I came to was Bad Trip.
Jackass 4.
Kind
That's 2022, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. What's the Tinder Swindler with Callie?
Was that a series or a movie?
It's a series.
Oh, okay. I thought
it's insane.
Completely insane.
Chandler, did you watch any of Get Back?
Oh, Get Back I watched.
I wanted to watch that. Yeah.
Beatles suck.
Sad, cringe.
Okay, I've been
debating. We're replacing Chandler.
I'm kidding, Mom. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I've been debating putting it on the list or not because
it's a movie,
but it's a series.
Yeah,
I don't know. I had it on my list for a while and I took it off.
This guy thinks The Return is a movie. I bet.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, I was worried.
No.
A lot of people
count
think
it
Twin
on
Peaks: The Return
Letterboxd.
is a movie.
Oh, the entirety of Twin Peaks is a movie.
Oh, okay. There we go.
All of it.
So that's the thing. So I don't even know if it would make my.
We can make special mentions of Return if we want to. I don't know. Not The Return. Get Back.
All right.
Where's my mind at? Anyway, so before we get started on our favorite movies, what was the worst movie or most disappointing movie we watched last year?
Jacob, I hope we have the same one.
Okay, not to harp on anything. We like movies, but it's important to
no. This one I'm
point
harping
out
on
the shit.
This one I'm harping on. I'll just go first because this is underneath The Woman in the Window. It's underneath Resident Evil. It's underneath Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Halloween Kills, and the Snyder Cut. But I can't think of a single more excruciating, horrible, awful theater experience than paying $12 American to see Annette in the theater.
Oh,
Annette.
Oh my god.
Annette is one of the worst things I have ever seen. It made me rethink all of my life choices. It made me apply for a refund on my film degree. Annette is awful. I'm sorry, Leos Cracks. Holy Motors looks okay. I'm sorry, Adam Driver. You're all better than this. Annette sucks. Worst of the year.
Didn't you saw like Licorice Pizza or something like before that, and you were just like,
no, I knew at the time. So me and Jacob went to the movies at the same time in obviously different cities, and Jacob went to go see Chungking Express in a theater. And at the same time he went to go see the second best movie ever made, I was watching Annette the whole time thinking he's seeing Chungking Express and I have to watch a fucking ventriloquist daughter doll cry at Adam Driver. Oh my god.
I was thinking about seeing it, but I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be for me either.
You should. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Is that your worst too, Jacob?
Okay, so Annette, I'm not as bold as to say it's the worst movie, but it's certainly the most disappointing movie because I watched the trailer and it's like, this looks fine. It has great production design. It's got good actors in it. Director's good. And then I watched it and I was just bored out of my mind and I just did not understand the appeal. But I have to go with a more conventional pick because that I feel bad putting something that has so much artistry and good intent behind it as my actual worst movie of the year. So I'm just gonna say Woman in the Window is my worst movie of the year.
Pretty
just 'cause
close.
It's kind of just a
That's what I've
bunch of
been hearing.
nonsense.
I heard it
It's
got
just
cut up in the edit though. Is that true? Like it got a bunch of things changed. Like the director came out and like disowned it. Well, I don't know if he disowned it, but he was like saying he didn't like how it turned out.
I don't know what could have saved it. Unless they insert the entirety of Licorice Pizza into the middle. I don't think it's gonna be saved.
Would you watch that full thing? The beginning of Woman in the Window, followed by Licorice Pizza, followed by the end of Woman in the Window.
I would.
You're like, there's a good like 120 minutes of it that's just incredible.
There's a good 2-hour, 10-minute movie in this movie.
My worst of the year was actually the first movie I saw since COVID hit, and that was Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, no!
I forgot that came out. Oh my
Yeah,
same.
my sister got like super into Mortal Kombat lore, so me and her went and saw it.
Weird.
Yeah, she
I like the
got an
lore.
Xbox and got the game and was like into it. So we went and saw it. I've always been a fan of Mortal Kombat. I wasn't expecting, Citizen Kane, but
I completely forgot about this. This is big for like a week.
I watched it twice.
You saw it twice?
I liked it. I thought it was alright.
I just think the whole thing was kind of awkward. There's like weird edits,
Definitely,
and, like,
I agree.
out of place ADR quips, and like just
Yeah.
I don't know if they didn't have coverage or just like a weird editing choice. I don't know. I didn't like some of the costumes. I didn't really like.
Now
I
you gotta
don't
watch Resident Evil, see which is the better video game movie of the year.
I do want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see that too. Still,
Mm.
It's
What
also
did I put in
bad,
my
but I
review?
like it.
Sub-Zero was cool. Kung Lao was cool. Liu Kang. I'm a Scorpion simp. I didn't get enough Scorpion.
yeah, I
But,
wish they would have had more of him.
But
You
yeah.
should just stop Mortal Kombat movies and start go back to Street Fighter. Those are the
Big
better
Trouble in
games.
Little China too.
Hmm.
Because that's what they
Yeah,
were
essentially.
inspired by that.
Yeah.
So John Carpenter is responsible for this movie.
John Carpenter's the epicenter of culture. I'm convinced.
He really is.
He's begrudgingly the epicenter of culture.
He doesn't want to be.
You'd rather watch NBA play
Yeah.
The Witcher 3.
Like Gears of War.
I love that, man.
What's your
Jeez.
worst, DJ?
My worst is Army of the Dead. Everyone was telling me it's
Wow.
fun, it's a good time, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm used to turning my brain off for some movies. Like I liked Mortal Kombat, and then this just like from the very beginning, I was like, okay, maybe it could be fun. I don't see it yet, and then it's like 2 hours, 20 minutes or something. It's so long.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
And not very fun. And there's like one good scene I liked maybe, and there's
How
like
is-
dead pixels throughout the movie too that were really distracting.
yep.
Oh,
Dead
really?
Pixels? Really?
Yeah, they used like an old lens and
Wow. Yo, you
didn't
wasn't
see this?
clean or something.
Did you guys not watch the half in the bag on this? Yeah, there's like one particular camera had one dead pixel in the middle of it.
Oh, I remember this now.
Can
Yeah.
they kind of fix that in posts with like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess you could, but that's part of the appeal.
I guess. Oh, is that part of it? Was a choice? I haven't seen
Well,
it.
don't know.
it's the dead pixel symbolizes the zombies.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's a choice.
What did? How
Well,
does
actually,
he-
it'd be an interesting choice if like there was one dead pixel in the beginning of the movie, and as the movie goes on, there's just more and more dead pixels, and then the movie
Oh,
ends.
yeah.
That's what they should have done.
It's all just dead
Yeah.
pixels.
Yeah, a little meta camera trick.
I know they had to, replace Chris D'Elia throughout the movie.
Oh yeah.
Was it obvious at all? I know.
I knew going in, and I was thinking like, oh, I see what happened. But if I didn't know, I don't know if I would have knew.
Yeah, because he uses a lot of like shallow depth of field. So,
Oh,
like,
it's so bad.
yeah. So
that
I
was
figured
so
it'd be easier
distracting.
to replace something that way because you can use a blur.
I
but
did not like that aesthetic at all, and people seem to like it, but I just couldn't do it.
I like when the Safties do it, like that
Yeah.
shallow depth of field.
they also just put the camera like right on their face, like it's like
Yeah, I was about to say the reason that it works for the Safdies is because they're pretty far away. It's like a Cassavetes thing where it's like, you know, you're just
Yeah.
trying to get the camera out of the way. Whereas Zack Snyder, for some reason, does the shallow depth of field, but yeah, literally puts it right up to their face. Just the trailer alone just looked awful.
yeah,
And
it's so
this is the
long.
same year as the Snyder Cut too, which is crazy.
I keep
Yeah.
forgetting
It's
that the
been
Snyder
popping
Cut
off.
was last year.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Wow,
Yeah.
so long ago. Good movie.
what-
I
So
still
was
haven't
he-
released that episode.
Yeah. Release
Oh,
release the
sick.
Snyder Cut, Jacob.
Yeah.
I should. I was going to try to edit that for because we recently released our the Batman review, and I felt that would have been an appropriate time to get off my ass and edit that, but not yet. One of these days.
It happens.
It's all right.
Yes. Yeah. As you're all talking about bad movies you watched, I'm like, wow. I really don't watch bad like movies, like mediocre movies that come
Yeah.
out, like just action movies, the action schlock that comes out every year. Because I'm looking at my list, and Woman in the Window is the only movie I was like, this is just worthless. And then after that, like it's Annette and movies I don't care for, but for the most part, I've watched just
Yeah.
You're just
good stuff, like a
have
bunch
good
of
radar for bad stuff.
yeah, I guess, or just less tolerance, less interest in seeking it out, and like if I don't watch it as it comes out in a theater, the chance
Oh,
of me watching it
yeah.
later goes down a lot less.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
But
I watched
even-
many bad movies either. honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of like just okay movies, like movies that could have been better, like Last Night in Soho and Godzilla
Halloween
vs. Kong.
Kills.
But like these are entertaining movies. I don't regret watching most movies I watched. Like this is an interesting year where I'm just like, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I think
oh,
overall it was a
yeah.
good year.
See,
I think
I
it's
was
shaped up to be towards the end.
when I started making or watching more movies to catch up with this for this podcast, I was thinking like this was not a good year at all, and like it turned out all right. Like I don't think it's an amazing year, but
We were spoiled by 2019. Nothing will
yeah,
ever be the
2019
same.
is just so good.
I think you're forgetting 2020, which for those who don't remember was the year of Mank.
Okay. It made
I
up
never
for
even saw it.
all the movies that didn't come out that year.
Mank was
Can't
worth
forget Mank.
10 great movies.
Yeah. Wait, are
Yeah,
you a
like-
Mank fan? I don't even.
I love Mank.
Okay, good. Yeah, I
I'm-
liked it too. I wasn't
I-
sure.
Yeah, no, I'm
He's a
Mank-filled.
manker. No, I'd say like this year wasn't like overall like super great like 2019 was, but I'd say like the average, like the median was pretty solid. Like it was a pretty solid year. A bunch of
Mhm.
good things came out from a bunch of different directors. Like, they all weren't like masterpieces, but they were a good
really
time
good.
watching a lot of them. Yeah.
I had because 2020 I didn't have any 5 stars, but this one I had
Really?
3, arguably 4.
Oh wow.
So maybe
I
I don't know,
had-
maybe a little better.
I think
For
I
me,
had
at
5 fives, maybe 6.
Holy crap.
As
Yeah.
I've been catching up, the year's kind of gotten better, and as I've rewatched a few of my top 10s, I'm like, wow, some sleeper hits kind of snuck in here.
Yeah.
And might even get on my favorites of all time list from 2021.
Nice. Like top 20, or do you just like you don't have a number, you just top your favorite? Like I don't, I just throw them all in one big list.
My
like, all-
top 10 is very strict. Everything else is like whatever.
That's what I
Okay.
need to do. I get too caught up in the rank. I think I should just throw in.
Well, I still rank them, but like they could change so much except for my
Yeah,
top 10.
top 10 is the only one that I'm like it's under heavy scrutiny.
Sure.
I currently have it's a top 50 list, but it changes that number.
Yeah, changing your top like 10 or top 5 is just, it's kind of like just changing your personality. You feel like
It's a
different person
momentous
after.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was depressed for a week when I officially took Goodfellas off the number 1 spot.
Dude, me too. No, I was my number 1 for like all of high school, and then I was like,
Like literally
Back
for
to the Future is my number
15
1.
years, it was number 1. Now it's 3. How the mighty
Really?
have fallen.
Oh man, it fell a lot for me too. 28, but I still love it. But
Oh my
it fell
God.
down to 28.
Wow, that's
Slander.
really
Dark
hard.
Hey,
Knight
I
moved
still
up
love it
pretty
though.
far down for you
It's
too.
Slander.
My number 1 has changed a couple times the past couple years.
Is it still Fanny and Alexander?
Still, yes, currently. But
Wow. You seem confident.
No, I'm never confident. That's
It's
why every
impossible.
year I release a new. I completely redo my favorite movies list, like from scratch, bottom up,
Mm,
because it
that's
always
smart.
changes.
It's an impossible question,
It
honestly.
really is.
I changed mine to Halloween like a little bit ago, and it's still impossible to say.
So we are going, before we finally get into our top 10 list, we are going to quickly say the little indie or smaller underappreciated movies we're championing.
Movies or
Championing?
one?
Movie. If we get to the end of our top 10 and you're like, oh, this wasn't on anyone's list, I feel like we should mention it. Then we
True,
can say maybe another one, but pick one. One movie that's not on your top 10 that you really want to make mention of.
Has anyone got one?
Champ, I got one, but I think there's a good chance it'll be on someone's list, but I just want to talk about Mad God.
Ah,
Oh, okay.
It barely missed. It's number 11.
Spoiler
It eas-
alert, it will be.
Yeah, I knew it.
Oh.
I mean, and the
Yeah.
thing is about this list is it's ever changing. Like I feel like it could be in the top 10 tomorrow. But I don't want to spend too much time on it 'cause it's not in the top 10, but it's fucking insane. It's got so much craft.
It is.
It's like The Matrix meets Stalker. I don't know how else to explain
It's-
it, but it's
yeah,
insane.
It is an experience. So, well, hey, we'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk.
some
We'll
more.
talk.
we'll talk about it.
We'll
Yeah,
talk about
we'll
it
talk about
don't
more in depth.
spoil it.
Yeah, I won't spoil it.
I'm
I don't even know how to spoil it.
Chandler.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. One real quick I want to shout out, and it pains me because there's a good halfway through this movie where I was thinking this could easily be my top 5. Kind of fumbles the ball a bit, but that is Boiling Point. If you guys aren't aware of this movie, it is a 90-minute movie shot all in one take. It's about a chef in London whose life is falling apart. He's in the middle of a divorce, and his 5-star exclusive London restaurant has been demoted to a 3-star restaurant. I love food movies, and it's not necessarily a food movie as it is a movie about like the restaurant environment. But it's really good, really, really tense, suspenseful filmmaking. Stephen Graham is the star, who is just incredible. If you guys don't remember Stephen Graham, he is the guy who's late for the meeting in The Irishman.
Yeah.
Little guy. Fucking
He's
love
the main
Stephen
character,
Graham.
right?
Yeah, he's the main character.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he is
cool.
the titular boiling point. But it's
He is Mr. Point.
it's very, very good. I definitely it's an easy watch. It's getting a little more popular as time has gone on. It's weird because it's a movie that I feel if it was readily accessible on like Amazon Prime or something, it would do really well. Because if you look, it's in like the top 20 most popular films this week on Letterboxd, but it's hard to find. So if it was easily accessible, it'd be up there. But it's fucking amazing. If you're into like any Gordon Ramsay show or sort of cooking reality TV, it's like a great movie version of that. Really fun way to spend 90 minutes. I do think the ending's a little but it's very good.
I'll check it out. I want to point out. Well, there's two. I'm not going to talk about this one as much. Disney's Fast Pass: A Complicated History. It's a YouTube video, but it's,
Yes.
it's 103 minutes. So I figured, hey, it's a documentary.
Count
I'm
it.
a strong proponent for YouTube cinema, and that is YouTube
Yeah.
cinema. It is a
Definitely.
fascinating documentary.
You
Is it
watched
on? Is it
I
on
did,
Letterboxd?
yes.
Oh, sweet.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
on
on
Letterboxd. Yep.
Yeah,
It is a
That's
great
a cool poster
documentary.
too. On
Oh.
Letterboxd.
yeah. It's about the cute lines at Disneyland and like how that's evolved throughout the years. But
It's one of those that you wouldn't think is all that interesting just based on the description, but
Yeah.
it really is fascinating.
yeah, I held off watching it for a while, and I was like, I'll watch it. And then I was like, oh, this goes way deeper than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Like Defunctland just does that. It's so I love that series so much, and so I don't know why I expected less.
Yeah.
It's great.
Interesting.
And then but New York Ninja is the one I wanted to point out, which is
God, I wanted to
Oh.
watch that so bad.
yeah, it's a
Such an
movie that was made in the
interesting-
80s and it wasn't finished. And is it Vinegar Syndrome? They
Yeah.
picked it up
Yep,
and
yep, so-
yeah,
No
just
audio.
like re-recorded the audio and cut it together. And you can tell by the end that it's like, okay, it wasn't finished for sure because the ending's not too great, but it's such a fun, weird oddity. And like the ADR is honestly hilarious. Like the things they do with like the grunts and stuff in the
To be
background.
fair,
And-
it doesn't look like it would have been much better if you had the original audio.
No, I was
Yeah.
thinking that when I was watching, I was like, this would have probably sucked if it came out in the 80s. Like the fact that it's coming out now.
But
makes
now
it
it's a
better.
historical oddity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes
Yeah,
it more
the fact that it
nostalgically
e-
interesting.
Even exists is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's even a movie is crazy. They
Yeah,
just
and-
found this footage.
Definitely watch it with more people too. Like, don't watch it alone because it's more fun seeing it with a group.
Yeah.
This is
It's
wild.
also-
I've
go
added
ahead,
like
go ahead.
4 movies to my 2021 movies to watch
Nice.
as we're talking. This is
Did you have one? Did you go already?
no, I did not.
Oh,
I
I'm
did
done.
not. I feel like there's too many, but I'm gonna wait for maybe the end. But I will make mention of that. I know I don't think any of you have seen Bergman Island.
That was one that you told me to watch, and I watched a different movie because you suggested 2. He suggested
Yeah,
2.
no, he did. He did.
So I watched the other one first, and didn't get a chance to watch that.
And I would really like someone to watch Bergman Island other than me, just to get their opinion. But it's such an interesting movie. Like I don't think it's necessarily like a great movie or anything like that. It's one of those that I have ranked higher on my list, even though there are movies that like have scored higher. It's only 4 stars, but I have it above a few 4.5. And it's because the movie does something really interesting with structure, and where there is an interesting like narrative, not a twist, but a twist in the way the movie is structured about halfway through. I don't want to like be too specific about that because there's something really magical about that. Like it feels like a fairly standard drama up until that point, like a good drama starring Vicky Krieps of Phantom Thread fame and
I think
Tim
you mean
Roth.
of old fame.
Sure. And Tim Roth, who I love as an actor, but I don't see him all that often. And he
Yeah.
is doing a pretty good job. Both of them are doing really, really great jobs. They're the leads. And it's just kind of a standard drama about the two of them on Bergman's the Faroe Islands, which Bergman lived in and filmed a lot of his movies on. It's kind of a love letter to Bergman. And then suddenly it takes a very interesting narrative tangent that suddenly becomes the movie itself, and it gets kind of meta, and it's just fascinating. I don't really know what to like compare it to, and I'm more just kind of astounded that it did what it did, and the fact that it worked, and the fact that I was so interested for the second half. And I'm not sure what it means or what it's going for, but it is something to make mention of, and I think more people should watch it because I think
sold me.
ultimately it is a good love letter to Bergman.
It's on Hulu, right?
Yes, it is.
I was iffy about watching it, but yeah, I'll probably add it.
I had to rent it. I watched it all the way back when it wasn't on Hulu, and
Okay.
I'm glad I did.
Cringe.
Oh, man.
Rookie mistake.
That's the worst.
No, there was a few movies I had to. I didn't have to rent them. Like there are other ways of watching some of these movies, which I did for a few movies, but some they're like Red Rocket. I'm like, I'm gonna give money to these
Yeah.
people. Like they deserve it.
He deserved
Bergman
it.
Island. It's a small independent movie. It deserved it. I don't regret
Mhm.
spending a couple bucks to finance more movies like that.
Ironically enough, the one who deserved it the most was Phil Tippett, and I did not give him a cent.
Oh no. Well, it's coming
I'm
out in like
sorry.
June. Like, I
Well,
have to
yeah,
wait
it's
till
coming out.
June to
It's
watch
coming
it
out on Shudder now.
Yeah.
which is weird, but whatever. I mean, I bought a Shudder account for a year, so I'm
Ah.
kind of giving money to Phil Tippett, but whatever.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Make it the 4th animated Criterion. Come on.
Oh,
We need more
There's a
animated
chance.
Criterions.
I
That's
agree,
true.
I agree.
That's true. Another movie that came out last year that could theoretically get a Criterion is Flea, which is pretty
I
good
can see that.
animated.
Yeah.
Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers documentary.
Dude, they just played a show at Amoeba.
Really?
What?
Right, yes. And
That's
I'm
cool.
pissed. And they had a secret show that was $20 also.
What?
That I didn't know about till next day here in LA.
Dang.
So rip. Anyway,
All right.
should we hop into the top
So
10?
after what, like 50 minutes of talking or so, it's our top 10 movies of 2021. You made it. Congratulations.
I thought you meant 1921. Oh god,
Oh,
I gotta redo this list.
hold on. I gotta see what movies came out in 1920.
Number one, watching a train.
No, that's my number 5.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All right. So this is I don't know. It's kind of gonna be kind of a clusterfuck, but it's gonna be a fun discussion, and we're just gonna kind of go for it. So
Jesus.
our number 10.
Oh, The Phantom Carriage came out in 1921. Everyone wanted to watch that. Sorry.
Chandler,
Okay,
what's your number 10?
I go first?
Sure. Why
Yep.
not? Eldest first.
Sure. Yes, true. I'm the elder statesman. Okay, so number 10. This is a last minute edition, and I've only seen this once. And when I saw it, I didn't really care for it, but I think about it a lot. I put it right above. This is a last minute decision because number 10 used to be Bo Burnham's Inside, which up until 2 days ago was Dune. So sorry to both Bo Burnham's Inside and Dune, but
Oh, no.
right at the last second, I'm putting in Titane.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Wow.
Titane.
Whoa.
When I saw Titane, I was not into it. Granted, I was not in the right headspace. I went into it knowing not enough, but I remember every frame of that movie, and the more and more I've sat with it, the more I've started to unpack and unravel, and I have a different interpretation, and it's weird, and it's just very odd. Jacob, I know you tried. I don't know how far you got into it.
Titane is in the Annette category of movies for me, and a little less so. Like I
Yeah.
find Annette to be insufferable. I just found Titane not to be my thing. So it is way down near the very bottom of my list, merely for the fact that it's not my thing, and not interested in like body.
Fuck.
It is.
It was
weird.
so hard to watch.
Did you watch it, DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
liked it, but I was like this most of the time just because I did not want to see all the body horror stuff
but
going
that
on.
I don't know. To me, that because I was the same way. Specifically, the ending and a bit of the beginning. I think that sort of visceral reaction is something that is rare for me in a movie. So over time, I've come to appreciate that. But also, was it a bird?
It already flew off. Yeah.
Nice. But also, I appreciate how odd of a story it is. At the time, I thought it was a little bit sort of all over the place, but I think over time I've sort of like connected a lot of these disparate parts into one cohesive story. I want to watch it again just to be sure, but I'm giving it the benefit of a doubt because I give a movie a lot of credit for making me think a lot, and it made me think a lot. So, Titane, number 10.
Well,
sorry, Dune and Inside.
The fact that you're mentioning that those are the ones that lost out because of this make me real sad. You shouldn't
Sorry,
have mentioned
theater
it.
kids.
Yeah. But Titane, I can respect it. This is kind of out of left field for me. I was not expecting to see Titane. But
Yep. Me neither.
Yeah.
I thought about it this morning.
Oh, okay.
whoa.
Wow.
really last minute.
Yeah, DJ, I know you saw Raw, which is the same director.
Yeah, no, Raw I actually liked more. There's definitely some body horror in that, but not as much. I did feel viscerally sick after I watched that movie.
And you saw it at Sundance, right?
Yeah, I saw it at Sundance.
Yeah.
But Titan, I just like throughout the whole movie, I was feeling sick, and I was just, like,
It's gross.
yeah,
It is disgusting. I love it.
I don't know. It won the Palme d'Or, and so I was kind of obligated to watch it, and I did get most of the way through. I just stopped eventually. But,
Did you get to the dancing?
Yes,
golden
yeah,
hair?
I got to the dancing part. Yeah,
I love it.
I still
Can't believe you missed the ending. The ending is what makes it.
I'm sure I read the synopsis after I quit, so I have an idea of what happened. But I'm still like not so dumbfounded, but like I just don't know why it won the Palme d'Or. I do know that it was fairly like it was a titular split take, if you will. There have been the people on the panel for the Palme d'Or were discussing that it was a very divisive year and they couldn't come to a consensus. So I do take comfort in.
She has the home field advantage because it's France.
This is true. We can chalk it up to the bias of the French
movie.
All right.
It is.
DJ,
Jacob,
alphabetically, you're next. No.
Okay. My number 10 is The Worst Person in the World.
Ah.
Yeah.
Great
I love
movie.
Yeah. I love the episodic nature of it. Feels like a book, and I the breakup scene was just so good, and
Which one?
well, like the really big one where she
No.
sits him down to talk to him, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just like the quintessential lost millennial movie. Like I felt that so hard, just like you love this thing and then you go on to the next thing and you're like, actually I want to do that and you want to do that. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to do film my whole life, but there are like different hobbies that I go like I'm super interested in it and then like a month later I'm into something else and that's just gone. Like
Yeah.
so I felt that and I was like, oh, just like experiencing that on like a level of just your career and life is just so much worse. Like
Yeah.
I felt that on a different level.
Yeah, it's very existential. It's like
Mhm.
she's constantly chasing that it factor, that it moment, or like whatever it is, whether it's like I don't know,
Mhm.
in her love life or this sense of adventure. And I
Mhm.
thought it was just like a great story of like just navigating the world as a young person, millennial or Gen Z, and like especially like there's this like I don't want to call it a subplot, but like a motif of like just they keep showing like I don't know, like political disasters and
Mhm.
and social media and you know just capitalism. And
Yeah.
Also,
I don't know.
one of the best tripping balls scenes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Dude,
say,
yeah.
It's great.
That's
scene
fucking nuts.
and the
It was
animated
nuts.
stuff, like
And
the
a good
most iconic
unique-
butthole of all time was such a good line.
A good
It reminds-
unique presentation of a tripping scene too.
It
Mhm.
reminds me of like Train Spotting, where it's like mostly grounded, but takes these like dips
Oh, yeah.
into the surreal, and then just
Like when
I
everyone's
love,
frozen.
yeah, I love that movie. I think it's great.
I
Yeah.
think my only problem was it's probably like the last maybe 20-30 minutes. It's just like it kind of goes down for me a little because it starts focusing so much on the guy and like his stuff and like I still liked it. It's just that I was just so into what was going on before
Interesting.
that it just
Yeah.
That's
on a
some of my
rewatch it might
favorite
be fine.
parts of
but-
the movie.
Yeah,
The
that
last-
part really contextualizes it a bit more, I think.
Yeah, no,
I
I feel like
will,
it'd be a great cherry on top.
I'm gonna say more later because it's also on
Okay.
my list. We're not there yet, but I will say like the last 30 minutes was great. Like that part between her and the guy, like really kind of like brought it all together into something more existential and interesting and kind of melancholic. My issue with the film is also the end, but it's like very specifically the end, like the epilogue.
Oh,
I'm not sure,
yeah.
like I'm not sure it
Yeah.
was like a really good capstone to the whole movie as much as like I was expecting. Like after the beginning of the movie, which like the first 10 minutes are just like a wild roller coaster, like it just gets going quick and hard and it's just this montage of her life and everything
Mhm.
and you are immediately introduced to this character in this the most interesting cinematic way possible and then the ending's just kind of like it's there. And I'm sure like I might feel better about it on a review, but that's just
Same.
Gotcha.
Coming out
I-
on Criterion in June.
it's
Oh,
the one
yeah.
movie in my top in I mean not necessarily my top 10, but the one that I wanted to rewatch and just didn't get the chance. So,
Gotcha.
Same.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best examples of using like chapters or like vignettes because I feel like
Mhm.
that's I don't know if it's just a trend or it's
I
like
hate that trend.
or a response
It
to,
is.
you think it's a response to streaming where it's like hey
Maybe.
you can pause the
I didn't
movie
think
right
about
now
Yeah.
or it's
release
just like
it in
a
12
trend.
little mini episodes.
Yeah,
Well-
like 20-minute episodes or whatever it is.
I noticed that with most movies when they do that, it makes it feel longer, but with this one, I didn't feel that. If anything, it went
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah, and I think the pacing at the beginning that Jacob was talking about kind of speaks to the themes of the movie where it's like it's kind of like this fleeting nature of being young and like there's always shit happening and it's happening so fast. And I don't know, I just thought it
Well,
was
it's
so
on your
well
top 10,
crafted.
isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should hold back on some of your thoughts. Cause
There's- I love it. All right, I'll hold back. Jacob's going to talk about it too, so
Yeah.
I'll hold back.
Yeah.
I'm
We'll get
not.
to it.
I'm the only one who didn't have it on the list. Sorry.
Cringe
Sorry,
plus
Norwegian.
L
Watch it,
plus
yeah.
ratio.
We've ratioed Chandler, first one of the day. Let's
Sorry.
see how I feel like Chandler will be ratioed at least one more time.
I'm definitely
Oh,
getting
and next
ratioed.
one, I'm definitely getting
same.
ratio next.
yeah.
All right, so my number 10, I'm gonna say like I was saying this to Sanju before we started the recording, but like I feel like my top 10 is really strong, but it's more specifically my top 9 really strong. Like I am 100% sure those are my top 9 favorite movies of the year. The 10 spot could change and probably will, and it might be like switched out with a couple things, but currently it is Spencer.
Love
And-
Spencer. Barely missed
Spencer
the top
slaps.
10.
Spencer Slab.
It does. It was one that I wasn't as keen on when I first watched it in the theater with Chandler and Nick.
Nah.
And it was good. But like it felt like there was something missing for me in like the emotional through line of the movie. Like it was too anxious too much of the time. But then I recently rewatched it with my mom, and I was really into the movie, and I just appreciate there's something that it just feels so cohesive as a movie. And that's why it's in my number 10 spot. It's not necessarily like there might be movies I like I love personally more lower on the list, but there's just I remember it so well because it's just so focused on one thing, and it does what it's trying to do so well. And the cinematography, the costume design, the production design, Kristen Stewart's performance, great. It's
I'm
just
shocked she
really
didn't win.
solid movie. Just the whole thing.
It's also got a friend of the podcast, Timothy Spall.
Good old friend of the podcast, Timothy Spall.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Jackie guy, but I did like this too.
I still need to see Jackie.
yeah, I didn't see Jackie. I like the
love
like
Jackie.
I don't know, like mythological type like structure or like framing of the story. I thought she was like Kristen Stewart's like incredible, and it merely missed my top 10. It could easily be in there though. I think it lingered with me for a few days, and like I don't give a shit about the royal family.
Same.
Like I have no
Yep.
interest, but I was like so intrigued. I was like researching after, and
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Which
I
is
really
what I
liked
think
it.
is a testament to how effective it is that it
Exactly.
gets you interested
Yeah,
in
for
something
sure.
that I think a lot of people aren't necessarily, but I think it does have a wider appeal because it is kind of more.
Yeah.
It's about something more than just a critique of the royal family.
Also,
Right.
in my opinion, one of Johnny Greenwood's best scores.
It is a good score.
It was
It's
really
a-
good.
I
Yeah.
love that score.
I thought for sure she was gonna win the Oscar for that because
She
the
was
Academy
split,
loves
I
biopics. They love,
But
Yeah.
they don't like her, I feel like.
Yeah,
Maybe.
probably can't take her seriously yet.
yeah,
They're
she was
on- they're on
great.
Just
Pattinson's
biased.
Side.
It was the Twilight Renaissance with Pattinson.
The Twilight song.
It's the one issue that the Academy and Trump are on the same side.
What?
Those tweets about
Have you
Kristen
not
Stewart.
seen-
Oh,
So,
No.
yeah,
like 10 years old, he tweeted
Yeah.
about how Rob Pattinson was. I don't know. He's
He's-
Team Pattinson.
He had a weird obsession with
Yeah,
both
that
of
was
them.
strange.
That's interesting.
So bizarre. Fucking hilarious though. Okay.
Alright.
My number
Brandon.
10 is, I'm sure it'll be on your guys' list, is The Green Knight.
The Green
wow,
Knight.
that
Wow.
low?
Yes.
Woo.
Okay.
Okay, no
Brandon.
spoilers, but it's
Not on my list.
almost the complete opposite.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. I love the movie. I didn't get a
Off with
chance
your head.
to revisit it. Yeah. I talked about this in my review. Like, I want to create like some sort of like rule or name of a movie that gets like a bad audience score, but that is amazing. Maybe the Last Jedi rule, the Green Knight rule, but
Under the Silver Lake syndrome.
under yeah,
It comes at night.
it comes at night. That was kind of a marketing thing too.
I
For
th-
It Comes at Night, but
I honestly
yeah,
think The Last
definitely.
Jedi is a bad example for that because that is legitimately like there's something special. Like never use Star Wars as an example for anything because it's in like a category of its own.
Yeah, I just feel like that was like the starting point for like when people really started to give a shit about audience scores. Maybe I don't know, but anyway,
Yes, it is theoretically a good example, but I
I
don't know.
we're gonna talk about it, but I just think it's so well crafted from beginning to end. The production design, the costumes, the performances. I mean, I like the pace. I think that's why people are like, oh, it's boring because it's slow, more slow paced.
Got
I don't know.
come.
It's got cum.
It's got come. Yeah.
I'm pro cum in film.
That's-
Didn't we
that's
want to
where it-
make
it
like a
brought it back
list?
up for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were gonna make a list of come in movies rant.
Do
Nothing
it.
beats Silence of the Lambs. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's up there.
This
though.
might be the closest. Yeah, it's the closest anything's gotten to beating.
Freddy
Silence
Got
of the Lambs.
Fingered.
Haven't seen it, so don't
Oh,
know.
there's a great.
That's
It's a great
I really like Dev Patel
horse cum.
and everything. So
Dude,
he's
yeah,
always
Dev
great.
Patel is
rocks.
great.
Dev Patel's
hope-
great. If I was in charge of the Academy, I would have nominated him for best lead performance. But that's just
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Or
is in it?
Ralph
Joker?
Ineson. Oh, Barry
The new
Keoghan.
Joker.
Yeah.
He's good in it too. That's the thing I
Yeah.
hate about him is that everything he's in, he's good. I just hate him.
You just have an
He's
irrational.
so good at being a creep.
Don't
He's
like
so
his face.
good in Killing of a Sacred Bookie.
Yeah. No. No.
I appreciated that, Chandler.
That was a niche joke for the split take OGs.
I will not comment too much on Green Knight, obviously, because I'm going to comment on it more. But I will say, first time I watched it, I was lukewarm on it, and it was by far maybe one of the biggest surprises of the year.
There is video evidence of him being lukewarm on it.
Yeah,
we
the
did do a
podcast.
review.
We recorded
Yep,
the
yep, yep.
podcast, and then subsequently it just kind of stayed with me. And I have
Yeah,
the Blu-ray somewhere on that shelf back there, 4K Blu-ray.
probably
Bought it.
right side. It's a very distinct Blu-ray.
It's all red.
Yeah.
But I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
No, what? There's a few red ones on there. It looks like a yellow font on it too.
Oh, are you looking at the
Yep. That
Yes,
There?
that's what I thought it was.
Oh
it
no,
not?
that's Do the Right Thing.
Oh,
okay.
okay. Similar color.
one. Red and
scheme.
yellow.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I'm
okay.
so-
Well, actually, it's Do the Right Thing and the Green Knight. They're right next to each other.
Oh.
Because Spike Lee and David Lowery, the
Ah,
just
interesting.
alphabetically, the
Interesting
directors
I-
are next to each other.
I
Wow.
listened to David Lowery do a podcast with Elijah Wood. It's very, very interesting.
Yes,
It's-
the A24 podcast
Yep.
episode. Yep.
and they talked about Lord of the Rings, and they talked about, some of the sets and production design that they made for Green Knight. So
Oh, that's sick.
if you're
I'm
into that,
Check it out.
yeah.
definitely listen to that.
We now have the possibility of perhaps the greatest Arthurian legend double feature. You watch The Green Knight and Monty Python and the Holy Grail together.
Same time.
Bro.
Yeah, at the same
At the
time.
See where they lap like the Transformers movies.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, number 9.
Number 9, my number 9. Get ready because we're getting Schrader pilled. It's
Oh.
card counter.
Oh, here we
This
go.
is also another big surprise. I feel like for everyone because I
I
am
fucking love
Yeah.
Paul Schrader. I don't care. Put him
I'm not
number
Schrader.
one.
I'm not Schrader pilled in the sense of his movies. I'm Schrader pilled in the sense of I love his online persona. And then I watched this movie and I loved it.
I love his Facebook posts.
It's so funny because for the longest time I was telling Jacob he would hate this movie. And he surprisingly liked it. I know
Really?
when I saw it, I was a little lukewarm on it. And it's one of those movies like Titan that I've been thinking about a lot lately. There are still some glaring issues. But I really appreciate Paul Schrader's devotion to mastering the pickpocket formula. He's so shameless about trying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Taxi Driver 9.
Some might call it lazy. I think he's just a perfectionist. In my opinion, he perfected it
Twice.
fucking
Look,
twice.
he's nowhere near Ozu levels of making the same movie or Hong Sang-soo levels of making the same movie over and over again. So I don't see what the big fuss is all about. They're
But-
different enough.
I do want to say the movie, I think it looks great. I think Oscar Isaac is amazing. I like the directions it takes. I love the Willem Dafoe
Fisheye.
wide
I laughed
lens
out loud.
shots.
I
was
love dude.
laughing.
Okay, it's the first time they do it. It's really, really good. It's very effective.
It's so
the second time,
fucking weird.
I don't know if it's just
But
too long.
I really love that he just goes there, and I also just want to say, just completely against, aside from the movie itself, which again I like, the balls that the man has to make a movie about an Abu Ghraib torturer and release it the same weekend as the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Good on you, Paul.
Oh, I
Kind
didn't
of
realize.
based. Kind of based.
I give the movie so much credit for kind of exploring those themes and ideas and tackling that issue that I like. It's higher on my list than maybe the quality of the film would
Yeah, I give it a
justify.
pass.
Yes. Well, not necessarily a pass. It's like the fact that you're engaging with that is important in and of itself. Like
Yeah.
it is a mark of quality in its own right, in a kind of different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 9. Great.
Okay.
Thanks,
Oh.
Paul.
Baseball.
All right, my number 9 is Inside, and
Oh.
I don't know if this is going to be on one of your lists.
It's on my
Not
list.
mine.
It's on
Okay,
my
so
list.
I'll just say it really fast.
Sorry,
it's just,
Bo.
I wish to be that creative anytime in my
Yeah.
life, because I don't know if that'll ever happen. But and just like great music too, just
Oh my god.
Looks
incredible
great.
soundtrack.
Great
I listen-
music.
Yeah, it looks great too.
I think Bo Burnham at the same time both inspired everyone at home, saying, I can make something by myself. Like there's no excuse to just sit on your ass and not do anything if you like all you have is yourself and a camera. There's no excuse
Yeah.
now. But he also essentially made something so good that everyone's like, well,
Yeah,
what's the
no
point?
Yeah.
point? No
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
That's
the yeah, I guess
We've
we'll
got
talk about it.
Bo.
Jacob.
Ah,
Your
yes,
number
my
nine?
number 9 is a great movie, Pig, starring Nicolas Cage.
Pig.
Yep.
I
It's also
just-
on my
He is
list.
great.
I just love thinking about Pig.
Too
It was such a surprise. It was my first movie back in a movie theater after the great hiatus. First movie back at the Loft Cinema here in Tucson, which is the best movie theater ever. And it couldn't have been a better movie to come back to theaters for, because it's just such a lovely surprise and one of Nick Cage's great performances.
He is
Y-
incredible
yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah, for sure. You go into it expecting, oh, it's gonna be John Wick
John Wick with a pig.
with the
yeah.
pig and Nicolas Cage, and it's like it's the polar opposite of it. And not that John Wick isn't like an acceptable, because there's a place for John Wick too, but it's just
Yeah.
like the way he
three.
approaches problem solving and like I don't know, it's just like forgiveness and empathy and patience, and it's like I don't know, it's like so refreshing. And Nick Cage is he's incredible.
Yeah, refreshing's a great word. Like it was great to see a movie that didn't choose the let's punch it out ending, that like the rest of
Yeah.
the movie kind of
It's-
insinuates where it's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Instead takes the quieter,
It
more
takes the
introspective-
Ratatouille ending.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yes.
oh,
Had
us three
that-
saw it together. I forgot.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Ratatouille ending is underrated.
And
Should be
Alex
used
Wolff, who I typically is okay, he's hit or miss.
Hereditary
but he was
slander.
pretty good.
Hey,
I
No,
that's
no.
my brother. We're talking about.
I literally I pulled up his filmography just to look, and like there's Hereditary and everything else is like,
Old? I'm just kidding.
Naked Brothers Band.
Get so
I
far.
didn't watch.
That's
Old.
true. The Naked Brothers Band. I forgot.
Anyway, Alex Wolff
Crazy
is also
Car.
pretty great in this.
Dude, I love that song.
No.
We're about to time out here.
Oh yeah. Really quick, did you know his mom is in Shiba Baby?
Alex
Who?
Wolff's mom?
Yeah, she's the mom, I think, in that.
Really?
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah, she was great too.
Damn, she's married
Yeah.
to Cy Abelman.
Pig.
My number 9
Great movie.
Yeah,
is a
Pig's good.
fantastic movie. My number 9 is Dune.
Dune. Also on my list.
Dune. Okay. I mean, Denis is just the master of the I don't know, cinematic,
The movie.
artistic, big movie. I don't know. It's such a grand movie. Hans Zimmer's score is incredible. The hybrid of practical and CG is great. I was not familiar with Dune lore at all prior to
Same.
seeing this movie. I purposefully didn't see the David Lynch one.
Now you gotta go. back.
Now I gotta go back. But yeah, I just think
We
it's-
should all watch the David Lynch one when we're all in Los Angeles. That'd be a
I'd be
good
down.
group movie.
My dad's best friend. That's literally his all-time favorite movie.
Jesus. Christ.
That's strange.
It's kind of based. I got him the David Lynch Dune poster for Christmas a couple years ago.
Wow.
Pretty sick poster. But
yeah,
I think 2021 Dune is just like the quintessential like just grand blockbuster. And I loved it. I'm excited for the second one.
It is what blockbusters should and could be.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For sure.
Is it on? I know it's not on Chandler's. Is it on your list, DJ?
No, I do like the movie. I don't love it though. I do really like it though.
What were your issues with it? Just pace or?
It's like once they get into the desert, the pace starts to slow down a little for me, and then I start to just care less, I guess. And then like all the flash forward, like all his mind
Yeah.
stuff, like I thought that just was going on too long and was just I don't know too much, and I just stopped caring as much as I was during the first half, which I absolutely love.
Mm.
So just a big
Are you-
drop off for me, but I mean I still really liked it.
You still want to see the second one?
Oh yeah, like I wish it would have just been one movie because it definitely does feel like half of a movie, but yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that, and I think a lot of people agree. I didn't really get that. I mean, maybe because I'm not familiar
I'm gonna
with
insert
Dune.
the meme from Uncut Gems with him going, "I disagree." I disagree.
Well, only reason I think that is because his, like, I guess if you think about it as in it's just about Paul, then yeah, because it could be one movie because it's about his like little arc there.
Yeah.
But in terms of like overall story, I just felt like it cut off, and I didn't care about where it ended in story.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
It
I'll
just
talk
needed more
about it more.
Stilgar. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Stilgar is great.
All right. Chandler's turn?
My number 8.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's on here a few times, so I'll just be brief, but it is Drive My Car. Drive My Car
Number
is
8?
yeah.
Oh my.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I'm not. I put it. It's 8. It's 8. Still
It's
4 and a
in the
half.
list.
Come on.
Still 2. That is
I'll give
slanderous.
Chandler the credit that at least it is on the list. It
It's
did
on
not.
there.
It did not get
It
yeeted.
beat
off
Card
l-
Counter.
I'm kind of surprised it's
Thank
that low. I
God.
feel like this is like a movie you would.
I
At
like
least
it a
Anyway,
lot.
Didn't get
It's
killed
8.
off like Inside and Dune did on
Yeah.
Chandler's list.
Drive My
Alright.
Car is very good. You guys, I'm sure you guys will talk about it more. I really liked it. It's a beautifully slow movie. It's just an incredible looking movie. I love the car. It's very dense. I've only seen it once. I think if I saw it a second time, when I see it a second time, it'll be a lot better. But I just want to say it has one of my favorite moments in cinema throughout the whole year, which is the 45-minute title drop. That's badass.
Dude. That is a Chad move as fuck.
That is.
I want
Yeah.
a title drop at 90 minutes.
I also want to say real quick, just one element of the movie that is probably one of the most heartwarming moments in cinema the whole year for me is the little excursion to the mute girl and her husband and her
Yes.
dog's house. It
It's
was
so
just
cute.
such a cute
I
little
love
scene.
that.
I could have watched a
Yeah.
whole movie of that. But
I
Drive My
love
Car,
that reveal.
yeah,
too.
it's so
Yeah.
great. Drive My Car
Yeah.
is great, wonderful.
It's awesome.
Read the book; it's good. The collection of short stories is very good. But yeah, number 8.
Cool. Wait, number 8?
That was 8.
Number
yeah.
8.
That was his number
Where
8.
am
Yeah.
I? Oh yeah, okay. French Dispatch is my number 8.
It is
And-
also on my list.
It's also
Okay, sweet,
yeah, it's
cool.
also-
Okay. Wait, are you mad that it's so low after you
Yes!
just got?
And I'm gonna assume that it's not on Sanju's.
No, it is not. on
Did
my
you ever get to the
list.
rewatch?
I did
He
get
did.
to the rewatch.
He hated it more.
I'm getting ratio.
Oh no.
No, I
Oh.
improved my score and I moved it on up
Okay,
my list,
okay.
but it didn't crack top 10.
L plus ratio plus symmetry plus
This-
pastel color palette.
Plus Bill Murray.
Okay, I will say that this is I think my favorite of his like sets, like his set design for every movie is incredible, but this is probably my favorite set design from him.
Dude.
Also, I thought it was way funnier than I expected.
It's so.
I was
funny.
laughing so much.
So.
And yeah, and another anthology movie.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, that's another
it's
example.
Yeah.
one of the movies that I think does the anthology really well.
I was gonna say
it's hard.
it's my favorite one for out of all the episodic anthology movies of the year. Like that was my favorite. They did each one was consistent. You know?
There's a fair amount of them too. Anthology
Yeah.
movies this year.
My favorite is by far the Del Toro one.
Oh really?
I was thinking Guillermo.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
I was thinking
yeah.
Guillermo too. I was like,
Sorry,
wait.
Benicio del Toro. Chandler, I remember us discussing because you really liked the last one. a
Oh, I
lot.
love the
So-
last one. Jeffrey
So-
I'm
Wright.
Because of the
also
food.
I'm a last one too.
Okay, so I liked it a lot more the second time I watched it, that specific anthology, because I don't know if it was just the theater I was in or the projection, but it was really hard to follow when I saw it in theaters. But then when I streamed it on HBO Max, it just seemed a lot more cohesive.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, there's
It
a lot
probably
going
was just
on.
yeah.
And that was one of my, not criticisms, but one of the notes I had on the movie the first time, where it's just like, if I felt like there was just too much to kind of grasp onto, and it's like once
Mhm.
you're in one scene and it just pops over to another tangent seemingly, and that, like, on a second viewing, it really kind of like clarified it in my mind. And one of the reasons why I think it's a really great movie is like it is a movie that will keep on giving, that like you can
Yeah.
watch over and over
Mhm.
again and just appreciate something new each time.
My favorite shot in the movie is when the whole town is like waking up.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
that's cool.
the towel,
Oh.
the carpet out the
comes out at the same
window,
time.
A
and
morning
yeah,
and ennui.
Yeah.
that's a great shot.
My favorite shot
Um,
is when it pans over to the like they're all dancing, and then it pans over to that one kid dancing, and he's just doing that great. Like I laugh so hard at just that one dance.
Speaking
will
of Chad moves in cinema, can we also talk about how the fact that making your climax animated is a very Chad move?
Yeah, that was
In a
cool.
live action film, yeah. Another trend this year, live action movies or animated movies that have live action elements in them, like crossover, because
Yeah.
Flea
Yep.
had that too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'll say about it though, because it's on your guys'
we'll
list.
probably
too.
get more too. Is it
My
two?
number 8
Yeah.
is it even a movie? Is the question we may be asking ourselves, and it is Peter Jackson's The Beatles Get Back.
Get
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Get
Yeah, why
You know
not?
what? You know,
Why
for
not?
this,
Get back to where
I loved it.
I have a
as
YouTube
well.
video on mine, so.
Yeah,
True.
fuck it. Yeah, why not?
I
I love the Beatles, so
know,
It's-
me too. I gotta watch it. I heard it's really fly on the wall, which could
it
turn
is.
people off.
I
It's
think
so,
if you're not,
that's my favorite kind of documentary though, because like so often
Let
I
the
feel like
footage speak for
with
itself.
yeah, like
Mm.
like who the fuck cares about like the what happened? Like
Mhm.
go on to Wikipedia and you can just read how, when the Beatles wrote these songs, what year, who produced it, yada yada
Mhm.
yada. Who the fuck cares? What is the most unique thing about the Beatles Get Back is being able to watch them just be the
Mhm.
Beatles together and friends, and it's heartwarming and heartbreaking, and it's
Poor
such an
George.
interesting look into the creative process for some of the greatest musicians and just artists ever. And it's such a
Mhm.
unique look. Like I don't think there's anything quite like this in any way, and it is long. I'm not really tempted to say it's too long, because like I think the point is, I'm a big believer in the point of a movie could be that it's too long, that you're spending time, and that's like the thing that like accumulatively at the
Mhm.
end you're like, wow, I just spent 8 hours with the Beatles, and I'm still just flabbergasted that the footage looks as good as it does, and that
Yeah.
we're getting it now. Like it's like you're just stepping right back into the past, and it's almost as good as like the present, like if it was filmed today.
God damn.
yeah, it's
Peter
very well
Jackson.
edited too.
Yeah. Peter
gotta check that
Jackson, obviously, he's goated for Lord of the Rings. But this and I loved They Shall Not Grow Old, which is the World War I
Mhm.
documentary he did. I
Mhm.
like that he's getting this second wind as a sort of documentary and documentarian. But
Mhm.
I'll get to
An
this eventually.
epic
It's just awesome.
documentarian.
Yes.
It's kind of
Yes.
wild.
Yeah, I just liked that I just got to see the Beatles hang out. Like
It's a hangout.
I was just like,
And they're
wow,
hilarious.
dude, they're very funny. And like John's just like this insane person, just it's goofy, and just seeing not only like the personal politics of them four, but just them just hanging out, writing songs, and John Lennon's always late, and he's always like, let's just improvise, and like, and Paul's kind of like he's directing, getting everybody on track, and George wants to be the person heard. Ringo's just vibing, so it's awesome. Yeah, if you're a Beatles fan, you should definitely watch it.
One of a kind
Didn't crack my top
experience.
10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Back to me.
I think it was like 60 hours of footage or something crazy.
Yeah,
I
it
wrote
was-
that down. Some crazy
Tons.
number like that. Maybe 50. I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Wait, is it my number 8?
Number
no,
8.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. My number 8 is Mass, which
Oh,
I think
I
Jacob
forgot about
saw.
this.
This one slipped in there. Wow, look at that. It did
Yeah,
not crack my top
dude.
10, but it was something
Holy
I
hell.
recommended to Brandon to watch.
I didn't look. So Jacob recommended Mass and Bergman Islands, and I was like, I'll pick Mass. Just didn't look into it at all. And it's, I don't want to spoil it, but it is intense. It is empathetic. It's like, I want to describe it as like a human movie, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Just feels, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. I won't go too far into it, but it is very emotionally
It's
resonant.
got Jason Isaacs.
He's
Jason
incredible.
Isaacs, friend of the show.
Yeah,
Jason
Jason
Isaacs. We have our own Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, we do.
The cast is incredible. So
It is.
I just highly recommend it.
When you said it's a very human movie, I drew a connection. It's sort of in a similar vein to Drive My Car in that it's very conversation driven.
It was based off a play, right? I think.
Is it?
Is it?
I heard.
If
I
it
think I
is,
heard
that would
it's
make
based
a lot
off
of
play.
sense because
Yeah.
Definitely feels like
it's
that. It's
long
one
scene.
of the. It's a movie that I probably would have mentioned it above Bergman Island as like a special mention, but I knew that it probably was going to end up on Sanju's list. I had a hunch,
Oh,
so that's
nice.
why I didn't mention it, because it is really great, and I hope more people watch it because it's doing something unique, telling a unique story in a very interesting and engaging way. And
Yeah.
it's one of the movies where it kind of starts out and you're like, okay, this is good, but it gets better as it goes on. And I just love those kinds of experiences.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm
Don't-
not sure about this, but then you just get more sucked into the drama.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I
I
gotta
would
add
say don't look into it at all. Just watch it. I think
heard
you
it
guys
was
will like
about-
it. Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I
but-
didn't know anything about it. And I feel like that's
Yeah,
the
it's
best.
probably
I think it's
ideal.
directorial debut, if I'm not
It's the
mistaken.
guy who was in Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Richard
And I'm like,
Jenkins.
It's the
No.
most random thing. No,
yeah, you would
Franz-
never expect to.
Fran Krantz, which
Yeah.
is I find it very odd because one of the coworkers at my work her name is Fran Fran
We're losing him.
Kantz.
Oh.
It's like one letter off
oh, okay.
from
That's funny.
the name,
Oh.
and it's just yeah.
That's the only thing I know about this is that on cinema clip that I sent you, where he mispronounces it like 40 times. Yeah, it looks good. I just didn't get around to seeing it, but
You guys would probably like it.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah, it's my number
I feel
8.
like I could.
Everything.
Check it out.
Thank you for the
All right.
suggestion, Jake. Crack the top 10.
Happy,
Here we-
happy to do that. Glad it made the top 10.
Here we go. Number 7. Now the real cinema starts.
Mm.
Number 7 is Power of the Dog.
Oh man, this is gonna be.
Ooh, I'm sorry to the haters. I love
I'm not a
Power of
hater.
the Dog.
No,
Sorry, it's above Inside. It's above Dune.
Where is it for me? It's my number 13, so it's close.
I am Power of the Dog pilled. I understand why people
Jane
don't
can't
like
be
it.
pilled.
I choose not to hear
No,
it.
you don't. You don't understand. You don't.
cannot hear.
You don't
So,
understand. It's my number
I think we
41.
need. Oh, it's my number 15.
Power
liked
of the
it.
Dog. I like it. I like the way it looks. I think it's Cumberbatch's best performance. I think it
He's
is
great.
pretty dense, maybe a little denser than people give it credit for. I just think it's
It's
a really
fascinating.
great movie.
I think
with
it's
a
the
lot
opposite.
To
I think
say.
I think it's less than dense than people give it credit for.
I understand why people don't like it. I really like it. Yep.
I will make mention that it's like this is part of the reason why I have it so low is it's not like an actual reflection of the quality. It's just that like I cannot think of a movie that I was more hyped going into like a Western, the way it looks, everything, all the actors, great. And then I watch it and I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck are people seeing?
I think
It's like I watched a
has-
different movie. I genuinely
Yeah.
think I have watched a different movie. I've yet to be proven
Maybe you
that we
did.
are
You-
watching-
You saw
You might-
saw a different cut of it.
Yeah, you
I
saw.
think
I watched the
You
power
watched
of
the
the
snipe.
Doge.
I think it has some subtleties that I think people are noticing, and then there's more ham-fisted things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Less subtle things in it that I think, just depending on like your preference, could be a benefit or a detriment to the movie. I think it's good. I wasn't like, it just wasn't cracking my top 10.
It's
I
the
think
second best Johnny Greenwood score of the year.
he also scored this.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep. He scored
Oh my
3.
god!
Also, I just want to say, regardless of how you feel about the movie, Bronco Henry is one of the best names ever.
Dude, the Bronco Henry tweets are fucking incredible.
Yeah, he's awesome.
They mentioned him so many times.
I know, it's awesome. Bronco Henry is great. But yeah, it's my number 7, Power of the Dog. Sorry, sexists.
Okay, my number 7 is Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a 2021 movie.
I just want to say, Judas and the Black Messiah premiered at the same film festival that Coda did.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly. Yeah,
Coda
it's-
premiered before Judas and the Black Messiah, but Judas and the Black Messiah was a 2020 Oscars thing.
yeah, because they
It's
extended it a
so
little
weird.
bit,
It's so
Yeah.
weird.
but it
Huh.
had
I
no
wonder if they
premiere
just-
before that.
I wonder if they
2021.
thought they had the hype for 2020 and they had a better
Yeah.
chance of winning.
Yeah,
Well, their
something.
pool to choose from sucked. So
Well,
Yeah.
That's
well,
probably why.
the,
Yeah.
the Oscars and awards shows have very short memory, so
yeah.
that too.
Judas,
Yeah.
Judas and the Black Messiah has been on my watch list forever, but it just got put back on HBO Max, so I think I'll finally watch.
oh, is it back
Yeah,
on
me
there?
That's
too.
where I saw it.
It is, yeah.
I haven't
It
watched it yet.
feels, it's just like right from the first like scene, the opening scene is just like this is such like it's a true blockbuster drama. Like you can feel the craft.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like so well filmed and just acted, and yeah, it's great performances. I love that they made the FBI just like completely evil, like no redeeming factor in it.
Based.
Very
Yeah, it's
based.
and truly
Now I
devastating.
have to watch it.
Yeah, you
Nice.
should check it out.
That's another movie that, yeah, it feels like a 2020 movie, but it's not. But
Mhm.
it kind of is. But I need to watch it.
Same with
Lakeith
Shiva Baby.
Stanfield is like that too. Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorite like actors
Oh,
working
yeah.
today, and
I love
I
him.
want to see it just for him.
Daniel Kaluuya is in
Kaluuya.
it as well. Did
Both
he
of them
win
are
for that?
so
He
good.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
He won the Oscar.
Yeah, he's incredible.
For people who have not seen Atlanta, I highly recommend.
I've seen the pilot and I liked it a lot. I just need to keep watching. I know.
It's the best show since Twin Peaks.
I heard it's a lot like Twin Peaks.
It's very much like Twin Peaks, but in a
I
way that's
heard-
not annoying.
Um, Glover was comparing it to Sopranos too.
Well, he said in an interview that it was Twin Peaks for black people.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, which I 100% agree. It's so weird because so many shows and movies try to mimic Twin Peaks, but they do it in a way where they rely too much on the iconography more so than the mood.
Sure.
Atlanta, this is just becoming a small discussion of Atlanta, but Atlanta mimics that really weird feeling, but does it in a completely new environment, which is great. But
I'm
yeah.
gonna say that now that you've put it in those terms, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention,
If
and I
you-
will seek it out.
If once you get to the episode, the Teddy Perkins episode, which if you don't know, it's a one-off episode where they're. I'm not gonna explain it. Just watch it. It's good. It's
okay,
good.
that was my number 7.
His number
Yeah.
7 was Atlanta. Okay.
No,
His number seven
Jake?
was Teddy Perkins.
Whose turn is it? Jacob's?
Jacob.
Jacob's.
What are we doing? Number 7.
That's your number
Yeah,
7.
Number
now you talk
7.
about Power of the Dog.
Okay.
That's too low. His is higher.
Bruce.
It's higher for him.
Number
He's a
7.
stampion.
The Power of the Doge was. My number 7 was Dunk, or Dune, better known
Oh.
as Dune.
Oh, oh,
Because
Dunk
if you
from
look
the
at the
poster.
if you look at the poster, it says Dunk.
Dunk. Yeah.
That's just me. Which you could call bad design, graphic design. I call it a happy mistake and an improvement.
I like
I'm
I'm pro Dunk.
Try his
poster.
Arrakis blend.
And we'll never get over any Dunkachino jokes, just for the record. Always funny. No,
We miss you,
Dune.
Daily Dunkachino.
Yeah, yes. Dune, I have been a long time fan of the book. It's probably the book I've read the most
I still have the
in my
copy.
life. You still
Still?
have my copy. Years.
It's been like
I-
years.
I do. I
Yeah.
read it. To be fair, I just haven't returned it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
almost-
eagerly
I mean-
looking forward to that day, which is coming soon. but
is, yeah.
I have a newer and younger copy of Dune, and it's a very nice hardcover. But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about the book. We're talking about the movie. I was very much excited for this, and it is perhaps one of my favorite theater experiences ever. Just sitting down in the theater. I will liken it very similar to the Force Awakens theater experience, except this was actual art and
Hey.
Oh,
All right, see you guys.
No, I'm not okay. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Force Awakens isn't it's not cinema or anything like that.
I
It's
am.
like, you're going into like a Denis Villeneuve movie. That's something special. Something a bit more than just Disney doing their thing. And this was I don't know, like it was regardless of the quality of the movie, it was kind of a perfect storm of like the best director I could have asked for this movie, the best cast, everything going into it was perfect. And in the theater, when the strange Sardaukar voice comes on before any of the logos, it's like the movie's just demanding your attention. And I just love it's beautiful, it's epic, it's everything a blockbuster should be. And it's very special in my heart, even though it does get kind of like the pacing gets kind of wonky at the
Yeah.
end. But that's all I'll really say. Like I, as a fan of the book, I realize I like have kind of maybe a skewed nostalgic preference for a movie that just came out. But I will say, like, it gets a little slow, but upon reviewings, the conclusion of the film has gotten stronger in terms of what I think Denis trying to do as a whole of like the first part. And then I'm very curious as to see what he's going to do for the second part. That's Dune.
Dune's
Baron
good.
is
Baron
intimidating as hell.
Baron is one of the most like, I don't know. I feel like we've been having a strong drought of like good movie villains. Even though the Baron's like barely in it, he's just like
Yeah.
just
I love him.
incredible.
I
Yeah.
will still laugh at there's one profile shot when the Baron's floating towards Dr. Yue and you see his pudge, his belly, it comes into frame first and it's floating. It's just funny.
It's just a great shot when they're storming Leto's like room where you have all of the
And he's on the roof.
and he's just floating above all the soldiers. It's great. It's a great movie. Dune would be in my top 10. It's one of those things where I can't really fully form thoughts until the second one comes out because I feel like there's such companion pieces. But Dune has saved blockbuster cinema. That
And the Batman.
and the Batman,
And-
yep,
yeah.
and the Batman.
And the fact that it did so well box office wise. If
Yes.
it didn't, I feel like
I
this would be a
know.
different story. But
Which
thank-
is crazy. Still,
I was
God.
surprised he got it because Blade Runner 2049
Yeah.
didn't do. I mean, maybe it did well on VOD and Blu-ray, but it didn't do that
Yeah.
well.
Well, Dune-
Neither did Blade Runner, the original. So it's
yeah, but Dune
Uh,
Dune is it's more of an established property in a weird way.
Yeah,
Like Blade Runner
yeah, it
has its
And the
cult
cast.
following, but the cast went
cast
a
is
long way
crazy.
to getting like new people. But I feel like there's a huge following for Dune. Like that's like
Yeah.
the Lord of the Rings of science
Mm.
fiction.
But I will say
Sure.
too that as much as I love Dune, it does not have it does not have as good as memes as Blade Runner 2049.
not yet.
No, nothing will
Wait
be
till part
funnier. Nothing will be funnier than Ryan Gosling looking up the billboard. Those are always part of the hologram.
The
Those
Taco
are the
Bell
funniest
sign.
memes in history. It's
Yeah.
always funny. But yeah, Dunk is great.
Dunk.
All right, my number 7 is The Lost Daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed this movie. I don't. Did you guys?
I watched
DJ, you saw it?
I loved it.
Uh,
Yeah.
I watched it. It's pretty good. It's my number 16.
Okay. I can't think of many films that have like an apologetic look at motherhood or like a raw portrayal of motherhood that don't need to like, I don't know, backpedal or qualify it. And I think Olivia Colman's she's incredible in the movie. She would have been,
Yeah.
I mean, she got nominated, so makes
Everyone,
sense.
I think, is really good in that movie.
Yeah.
Like Dakota Johnson, I was like, really.
Yeah, she's great too.
Yeah.
The structure of it is pretty interesting. I like that like subplot, and I think it's the first time that 2 actors have been nominated for the same character in the same movie.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's
Or what
cool.
was it, Godfather 2? I can't
Godfather
remember.
2.
I don't know.
Yeah, but Yeah. Now at number 7. It's
It's
great.
number
Joker.
12.
Joker.
Yeah, but that wasn't the same
No.
movie. All right.
Chandler.
Oh,
Chandler, number 6.
Number 6.
Oh, here we go. 6 is Mad God.
Wow.
Which I'll
okay,
be brief.
nice.
Because I don't want to spoil it for DJ. Mad God is a fucking experience. I'm so sad I didn't get to see this in theaters, but for people who aren't aware, this is a movie that VFX legend Phil Tippett has been working on in his basement for like 40 years. It is a stop motion horror epic fantasy dystopian gross Nazi adjacent movie. The best way to explain it is 2001. It's like
2001 Stalker.
Stalker with the Matrix with that looks like Fantastic Mr. Fox. It is I feel like it's one of those things that love it or hate it, you just have to respect it for being what it is, which is just fucking insane. So much of this movie I don't remember if I actually saw or I dreamt. It is just an all around like absolutely incredible movie going experience.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. Just watch it. It's very good. My number
so
6.
excited.
It'll be on Shudder soon, but it's one of
Yeah.
those things that's flying under people's radar because animation in general is hard to market towards adults, but something this out there is, I don't even know where to start, but great movie. Great
Yeah.
movie. They have giants who get electrocuted until they shit, and then the shit gets put in jars and sold, I
Oh.
assume.
Sweet.
It's great.
I'm
awesome.
excited.
That's
If
just
you're-
scratched the surface.
Yeah, if you're a fan, honestly, the only thing I can compare it to, oddly enough, is Elden Ring.
Okay.
With just how out there it is and varied, but yeah, watch it. It's good.
Sweet. That was 6. Right?
That
That was
6.
6.
Okay. My number 6 is Woodstock 99, a documentary on HBO Max. Yeah, a lot of people wrote this off, and I think it probably has to do with just because there's so many talking heads with different perspectives, and like sometimes people get when like they hear something they don't agree with, they think, oh, the documentary is like fighting for this, like this is what the documentary thinks, but like they have other talking heads on there that refute it like 5 seconds later. I guess just a matter of just hearing it kind of turns them off to it. But I understood, I was fine with it. It's just one of those movies where you watch it and you're just kind of like, this is my personal hell, and I'm so glad I don't have to experience this ever, and I know what to look for now when like in my future. Like I'll never ever go to a concert like this in my life.
Imagine
what
the
else?
people who died there and they died listening to Limp Bizkit.
Dude, yeah, like just the thought of people were dying from, I think it was hypothermia, just because it was just so like they had no water. And
That's not what hypothermia is.
no, I'm saying
Hyperthermia.
like they were, because they're wait, isn't it when your body temperature gets
Too hot?
high? It's too hot.
That's
'cause-
hyperthermia,
That's
isn't it?
or too-
hypothermia is too cold.
Too cold. There's
Okay, sorry.
hyperthermia that's
Okay,
too hot.
hyperthermia.
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, they had no water and they were just surrounded by too many people in the hot air. So like, yeah. Anyway, but great themes with like commercialism, trying to commercialize peace to kids, and this
Yeah.
weird generational gap that thinks like you have to experience what I did, but at this cost, and and like none of the themes that we originally had are going to be there, but we're going to market it there like it is. Anyway, yeah, check it out. I love it. Nobody's watching it.
Cool.
That's my number 6. Right.
My number 6 is a movie we already kind of discussed. It is The French Dispatch.
Wow,
Which
that low.
Wow.
Cringe.
that
That
low.
high. Wow.
The opposite reactions. That's great. And what can I say about this movie? It, like I said before, it's just a movie that I feel like is just going to keep on giving. And it is the first Wes Anderson movie. It's on the shelf somewhere back there. And that I bought already, knowing that the Criterion's going to come out sometime
Just
in the
to watch it
future.
again.
Just to watch it again. And I probably will watch that Blu-ray at least once more before the Criterion comes out, maybe even twice more. So I feel like I'm going to get my money's
Which
worth.
is also pointing out it's especially special knowing how bad the Blu-ray is.
Is that a bit of soot on your finger, Chandler?
Yeah, I've been fucking with this table.
What?
Where is it at? Yeah, here.
Yeah, I was just curious
Ew, how
as
did
you
you
were
catch that?
gesturing wildly with your finger.
It's
Anyway,
it came out of my mouth talking about Mad God.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, French Dispatch. It's one of those movies where both times I watched it, I felt like this kind of creative high after watching it, and it's a movie about artists in a way, but like newspaper
Writing,
journalists and writing
Yeah.
and the adventures that they go on. And there's something kind of like there's a camaraderie to an aspect that's kind of very almost filmmaking like at the end when they're all coming
That's what I was
together
gonna say too.
to write.
Yeah.
And so I got very inspired both times after watching the movie, and a movie that can make me feel like I'm wasting my time and I should be working harder on writing and doing things is a good movie, and I will always cherish it. And I will.
Also, can we just say one of the most stupidly stacked casts in a very long
It
Yeah.
is. We had quite a few
Jeez.
movies this year that just had like stacked cast, and this was one of them.
Last time I watched it, which is about a month and a half ago, there's two moments where I'm like, fuck, I forgot you were in this. And that was both Willem Dafoe, who I forget it's in
Yeah,
it,
for like
and,
5 minutes.
and
not even.
Christoph Waltz, who's in one scene.
Yeah.
It's just
Show up for a
I
day.
forgot he was in it. Yeah. What
Yeah.
the heck?
it's so weird, but yeah, good.
People
We'll talk
love
about it again.
working-
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
My only real complaint now is that I think it's too Wes Anderson-y to call a city ennui. Like that's just stupid. Stop.
I like it. Fuck it. Might as well go.
It's not an actual complaint. It's just like, God damn it.
I love that
You
you're
went
like the animated car chase climax is fine, but calling your city ennui, that's where I
Yeah.
that's where I draw the line.
It's a bridge too far. Can't do that. Yeah. French Dispatch, great movie, underrated. So sad it didn't get nominated for anything. That's
That's
a
insane.
crime.
I think get nominated.
Yeah.
Cinematography and production
What
design.
happened?
At the
is a
very least,
shoo-in.
production design. It probably should have won. And I'm a Dune
Yeah.
stan.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. No noms. It was releasing like
Atrocious, dude.
what was it?
It was
Was
Oscar
it too early of a
season.
release?
No, it was like
yeah.
November.
So-
Because I was already
November?
moved
Oh.
out here. Yeah, so it must have been
Wow.
November.
I feel like November is too early of a release now.
I guess
Yeah.
it's
Weird.
so. Weird.
I mean, the Oscars just happened. The end of
Not
March.
even a hint of
Yeah.
French Dispatch.
They should.
Insane.
That's crazy.
March is too late. They
Cringe.
should go back to February.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 6. My 6 to 1 have all been number 1 at some point.
Wow.
So they've all been moving around. So this list could easily change. I'm just gonna. So my number 6 is Licorice Pizza.
Here's a big one. This is
Look, Chandler.
the big boy.
I was scared to say it because I knew Chandler was gonna kill me.
Oh, someone had to say it eventually.
We're gonna talk
All
about
right.
it again, so let's
Yeah.
just
All
wait.
right.
Let's
Number
move on.
6, Licorice Pizza.
All right,
Oh,
number
okay,
5.
right. Oh, okay, shit. I guess I have 4 minutes. Number 5. This is also a recent jump up. It was 9 a week ago. Now it's 5. That's Red Rocket.
Wow.
Hey, that's
Red-
my number 5.
Red
Really?
Rocket
Yeah.
is
Get
fucking-
both you out of the
Okay,
way.
then here we go. Yeah, we'll just both do it.
Okay.
Red
It's
Rocket.
for just
This
a little.
this
it's
is
my,
my
number 20.
Licorice Pizza Joker moment.
Red Rocket. That's high. I love Red Rocket. I've seen it twice. Once in theaters, once with the director commentary. I'm gonna watch it a third time, just raw again. But Red Rocket. I love Sean Baker. I love his weird mixture of like sort of like neo-realism with like touches of like weird genre stylish stuff. I think this is his best movie. It scratches that Uncut Gems itch where it's just about the worst person in the world doing the worst things in the world, but it's like a
Seriously.
car crash you can't look away from.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like Uncut Gems, it's like a comedic actor giving one of, if not the best performances of the year. Simon Rex fucking killed it.
Yeah.
So
and was
it's-
robbed of an
it
Oscar.
really
nom.
was. It's one of those movies where constantly I'm like, where is it going? But it's one of those movies that's fun to watch, really well made, but the more and more I think about it, has a lot to say in a really subtle and interesting way.
Totally.
It shows cock, which is, always a good thing.
Split
No
Take
cum, though.
endorses cock.
No cum. But
No cum, but it does show cock.
We
But
endorse
yeah,
both.
Yeah, it's great. What about you, DJ?
I agree with everything you said. Also, it's extremely uncomfortable to watch.
It's so
And-
cringy.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Love it.
and I wonder, like, I loved his performance too, but I wonder how much of it is just like himself and
He
like in
seems
terms
like a
of
good
just
guy.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm just saying in
Yeah.
terms of just him being so
'Cause, like,
chaotic
Bravado
and
and
Yeah,
like just
Yeah.
like annoying sometimes, like
charmer,
Yeah.
charmer. I should
Yeah.
say.
yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, I think it's so. I love like it's all the zooms are so funny.
Oh, it's
Just the
so great.
cinematography is
Dude.
great. And it looks amazing, but also just the editing and this and just the zooms.
Sean Baker edits,
got me.
dude.
Yeah,
Did
best
he edit
dog
this?
of the year.
He usually edits. You know they found that dog on set and
Yep.
just incorporated it into the movie?
Wow.
Sean Baker's a freaking king,
Yeah,
dude.
I
I
love
love
him.
Sean Baker. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh yeah, that's my number 5. So now Jacob.
Well,
Got 2
I'll just
minutes.
make mention. It's my
Oh,
number
yeah.
20. It's I watched it. It's good. It's well made.
Woohoo!
I could say the same. I wasn't gonna comment. I wasn't gonna comment on the fact that it's number 5
I
for
laid
all of you.
off on my
Jacob
French
is
Dispatch
anti-cock.
slander.
I
I was
distinctly
polite
remember
about
about
French
a minute
Dispatch.
ago saying that we endorse cock on this podcast. But,
You're
so-
right.
It doesn't
You're right.
tease
Fake
with
news.
bulge, it shows cock.
It's
Which is our sponsor today.
your move, Matt Reeves.
The Batman 2, what's going on?
No,
God
it's good. I just don't think it was as cohesive or as like really interesting or I didn't find it as interesting as you guys did. Wish I did. I think like I was far more engaged and interested by the Florida Project than this one.
All-time
But-
favorite of mine.
Red Rock, it's good. I don't really have much negative to say. It just wasn't as
It's
I
just
wasn't
a
into it.
really well made movie. Yeah.
And to be fair, let me just say, like 20, that's not bad. Like
Yeah. out
like
of
my top
30.
25, I'd say like those are all really great movies.
Sure.
Like it's above Tragedy of Macbeth, it's above Hand of God, both of which I love.
Mm.
So
Oh wait, you watched 60 movies this year too. So like 20 is good.
65 or
Yeah.
something
That's
like
top
that.
Yeah.
third. Yeah, I honestly think like 10 to like 20, like that's a tough like mid-range area.
actually, I'm
we're
gonna
moved
draw a
around quite a
line
bit.
right between number 28, which is Belfast, and number 29, which is Coda, and everything above that, everything above Belfast is like
The
I would
Coda
recommend.
Curve.
They'll be known in history as the Coda Curve.
My number 5, it's a movie we talked about already. The Worst Person in the World.
Very,
Heck yeah.
very cool.
Which, in case no one was aware, great movie. Directed by Joaquin.
It's pronounced
Joaquin-
like Joaquin, just with an M. So Joaquin.
Yeah, it's Joaquin Trier, who I have seen one or two other movies. One of his other movies, Oslo, August 31st, is a movie that just kind of astounded me when I first watched it. It's not necessarily like a masterpiece or anything, but it's the way that he directs his movies, the way he uses shots and montage is just so interesting. And he's one of the most unique, expressively filmmakers that I think is working today. And he has a really great penchant for doing like subjective cinema of like showing things from characters' perspectives and getting that across really effectively. And I felt like The Worst Person in the World was another great technical film on that level, on like a filmmaking level. And that's like, the way he films movies is everything I aspire to be whenever I make movies. And that's part of the reason why I just love the movie. Also, it has a killer soundtrack, and Renate Renuzeve, I can't pronounce her last name, but the lead actress, snubbed at the Oscars,
her.
one of perhaps I'd say the best female performance of the year in my book. And
Also,
there's just so much
important to note, also shows cock.
Shows cock.
Does.
lots of cock this year. Look
Way
at
more
that.
for cock.
I need to adjust my list.
Seriously. Oh my god.
2021 was a cock comeback year.
Return
A lot of
of the
cock this
cock. Yeah, I said something similar in my review, Jake. I said the cinematic language in this movie should be mandatory study for anybody wanting to make a movie. I think writing, editing, performances, needle drops, very cinematic movie, for lack of a better term. But
they're like the top 5, I'd say all were like such well-directed movies in terms of like using filmmaking in unique and individual ways, and like actually using filmmaking, like doing putting together sound and editing and acting and montage and all of that together in interesting ways to tell a unique story from an emotional, character-driven perspective. Great shit.
Perfect.
Love it. Need to rewatch it. Gonna get the Criterion as soon as it's out.
That not time lapse, but that scene where everyone's frozen and it's all practical and she's just walking through that city was nuts. And they did that practically. I'm sure there was some
another scene. It's kind of similar, like a set piece that he did in Oslo, August 31st, where it's same actor too. What's his name? Anders Danielsen Lai, who was in this movie. He's also in Bergman Island. Fun fact. And but in Oslo, August 31st, there's a scene where he's sitting in a cafe, and it's also like this sort of where like time slows down, but it's I won't explain it too much because I feel like I can't explain it, and I feel like that's a good like judge of a scene where you don't feel like any words would be inadequate to describe what it's portraying. And good scene. It's on YouTube.
Cinema's back, baby.
But yeah, worst person in the world. It is cinema. Love it. Can't wait for a rewatch. It's the one movie I really would have liked to have rewatched before this, but I didn't get to. In fact,
it's not streaming anywhere, is it?
I don't know.
Think so.
Only this one and Pig. Those are the only 2 movies in my top 10 that I did not rewatch. Yeah, good movie.
All right, my number 5 is Inside. That was my number 1 for a long time.
Same.
Yeah, like I said, the top 6 were all number 1 at some point. So that just speaks to the quality of the films. I just think Inside was the quintessential isolationist piece of, post-COVID world. Obviously super creative. The songs are great. I went through a few months where it was like Inside, it was like 70% chance I was listening to Inside anytime I drove around anywhere. Very well directed. I want to see Bo Burnham direct a more traditional movie again.
Eighth Grade was great.
Yeah.
8th Grade was great.
Yeah.
And I just like, I think a lot of people were put off by, kind of the nihilists.
Yeah.
Some people weren't, but that's kind of the appeal. But I think that's the fact that there is no like resolution in a way is like super powerful.
It's therapy.
The
It's
lighting
yeah.
blew my mind. Just like all the different lighting setups and like the stuff he did with like just choosing which lights and like flashing it at certain times.
Totally.
I was like, holy moly, what a performer.
30.
Too,
I like the light change during 30 where it like changes on the shadows are behind him. Super, super cool.
Yeah.
I've seen Inside probably the most.
I wanted to also point out how anxious all the chords being everywhere makes me. Just like so many chords.
Yeah.
Way too many chords in that
Yes,
movie.
The chord management.
Yeah, more cock, less
Yes.
work, please.
Get Bosif some zip ties.
We almost get
Yeah.
Bo's cock in the movie. Get very
That's
close.
Oh yeah, yeah. You couldn't do it.
That's why I fell
Almost
to
got
number
there.
5 for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's my number 5.
Cock check.
Chandler's number 4 now, right?
Number 4, Quattro.
What are we even at? I don't even know. Let me check.
4.
4
Yeah.
is one we've talked about. I'm sure we'll talk about again. It's The Green Knight. The Green
Wow.
Knight is
All the way at
very
4.
good. Green Knight is another one of 2 movies on this list where I had an idea of what it was when I went to go see it. I saw it. It wasn't what I thought. It turned out to be something better. Because I think this movie is marketed as something like a sort of fantasy adventure, Lord of the Rings type thing. It's very much not that. It is slow and brooding, and it's more about it's less about like actual glory and more about like the meaning of glory. It's one of those it's a kind of really depressing movie about the cost of fame and making a name for yourself, and I don't know, I really like this sort of weird take on a fantasy tale. I like the vignetted structure of
Another
it all.
vignette.
I love I love the design. I fuck with medieval tree stuff. I love the Ents.
I was gonna
love-
say.
I love the Erd trees from
I am
Elden
no
Rings.
tree.
The actual titular Green Knight is fantastic. It's one of those
He
movies
looks
that I
great.
think about so much. And if I had to make like a list, like a list of scenes of the year, I fucking love that sort of fast forward into the future at the end of this movie. That sort of like 10 to 15-minute montage, I think, is just pure fucking cinema. It's a movie that I think is going to it's already decently popular now, but I can see it getting more popular as the years go on and people kind of realize what it's going for. I really appreciate David Lowery's like sort of visual style, because he does sort of like he's one of the like defining figures of this like new era of like digital cinematography, A24 type look, that I think he actually makes it, elevates it to a degree. I'm amazed this movie was made for as cheap as it was.
Do you know
Grant-
what the budget was?
The budget
Off the top of your head?
was not off the top of my head. Hold on, real quick. The Green Knight.
Well, I'm gonna guess 5 million.
$12.
5 million.
I'm gonna guess 18 million.
Let's see. Hold on one second. I have it here. Budget was 15 million,
That's pretty good.
which I think is pretty crazy. Because
Yeah.
I think he knows, like Denis Villeneuve, he knows when to put the money into the special effects. I think the giant sequence is fucking
Yeah.
incredible.
Looks really cool. Yeah.
Which is mostly practical as well. But I just think it's one of those movies that's just going to keep on giving. It was my number one for a long time. But it's still it's the first 5-star of the year. It's very good. That's my number 5.
I'm a
Four,
sucker
four,
for a
number-
deconstruction of a classic
Yeah.
tale.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I agree.
Definitely needs a
It-
rewatch for me.
It's
Yeah.
I would say that it did suffer almost from its marketing
Yeah,
campaign
'cause
of that
it-
trailer, because it almost seemed like
Yeah,
there'd be
They're
yeah.
more
scared to
action.
show that it's gonna be
and-
slow.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of movies, I feel Uncut Gems sort of suffered from this too,
What?
but a lot more movies these days, people saw the trailer and they saw Adam Sandler.
I think
and-
Uncut Gems did a pretty decent job. The trailer.
You're saying it's more comedic. They were thinking. It was more
I don't
comedic?
think
It's a pretty funny movie.
No, I'm not saying the trailer's
It's a different
bad.
kind
Yeah.
of humor, though.
Nor am I saying the Green Knight trailer's bad. I like the Green Knight trailer. I just think that like with Uncut Gems, it didn't explain enough. It didn't warn people enough
yeah.
Mhm.
how anxious it would be. And not that it has to, but that's
Yeah.
it just kind
Yeah,
of
you're right.
inevitably fell into that trap. And
Mhm.
I feel like the Green Knight probably would inevitably fall into that trap too.
Also, can I say one of my favorite last lines in movies recently? Just off with your head and cut to credits. Nice jovial Renaissance.
Perfect
tune.
I was
delivery.
hoping you weren't going to mention that, because I'm going to have to mention it in a minute too. But
Oh.
Also,
we'll talk
I-
about it
would be-
again.
It would be up higher if they just showed some cum.
It
Showed
got
cum.
to come. It got to
That's the
Showed the
theme.
cum, did not show the
Filmmakers,
Yeah.
if you watch the Split Take podcast, and this is the one lesson you should learn.
You're gonna get at least 3% up on Metacritic if you just show some cock.
Exactly.
Or it doesn't even have to be Dev Patel's. It could have been the Green Knights. I would love to see what it looks like.
Some wood.
tree.
Little redwood. But yes,
Incredible.
Green Knight's great. Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
All right. So my number 4. I'm really glad we started at 10, by the way, so I could actually get some credit with your viewers and listeners, and they wouldn't think I'm just a crazy person. But my number 4 is F9.
Oh
one of the
my.
many good car movies that came out this year. The first time
This
I watched
is
it,
out of left field. for me.
yeah, the first time I watched it,
is
it was
not
like a
out of
3.5.
left field for DJ.
Yeah, I mean, I love the series so much, and I'm a huge defender. Yeah, on a rewatch, I was just like, this is just so fun. It's pure joy, and the gimmick with the magnets are so good, and just they don't care anymore with reality. They even it's part of the like they have a jokes about it in the movie about how they just
How
can't
we keep
die.
surviving this?
Yeah. And then but they also just like have heart still, and like you care about the characters, and it can be really funny, and they tie back to their roots with like bringing the Tokyo Drift guys in while also like explaining Dom's history, even though it's just there because they have to explain why John Cena is suddenly in the movie. But
I like that part of it.
yeah, no, I
though.
like it too. I'm just
And
saying.
thank God they didn't digitally DH.
Yeah, no, and the actors they got
just
were really good too.
Yeah, just give another actor.
Yeah,
It's fine.
and also I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it finally does what we've been asking the series to do for years, and it's just
They're
You,
aware of the meme.
I'm
Oh,
not
you're
sure.
aware?
I'm
That's
not
not
sure if
fascinating.
I don't know if I'm gonna break your heart with this sentence, but I have never seen a single Fast.
no.
Neither have I.
I knew you guys, both of you guys didn't see it.
So
I
there's
know.
no spoilers.
DJ made me watch when I think it was Fast 8. And I like Fast 5. Fast 5's I think the best one.
Yeah, it's the best, and 7's up there too. 7 has that ending that makes you cry. But yeah,
Is that
no,
the
Paul Walker's last
ending?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I eventually see that ending, I will not be able to just not laugh of all the memes.
'Cause all the
shits I've
memes.
seen.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, it's kind of
but-
remarkable that he was able to pull that off.
and it's
during
such a good way
production.
to like to send off someone instead of like killing them off or just explaining it away. It's a good send off, and they still honor it to like this day, 2 movies later. But yeah, I would definitely recommend watching the whole series because it's just it's so ridiculous that these movies are still going on and are still like have some like they're still quality. They're not.
Where does it rank in
Bad
the
movies.
Fast series for you? Fast 9?
After rewatch, it's pretty high.
Okay.
It's number 3 now.
Wow. Number
Yeah,
1 is Fast 5, right?
Yeah, 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 3, 1. Just watch them all. 2 is bad. I don't really like 2 at all.
Was
But-
that that's not Tokyo Drift, is it?
That's
no,
the
that's
third
3.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first one I rewatched it per DJ's request, and it's pretty good. I like the first one.
Yeah, and then
Um,
after 3 and 4, they're like, let's make
Fuck
this
it.
like a let's do like make it a
Mission Impossible.
no, that's like 5. 4 is where they start getting into melodrama, like
And then they just reboot again.
Yeah, and then 5 they're like, let's make this a blockbuster like Mission Impossible style thing. And
Yeah. The Rock flexing out of a cast is cinema. Though, I will
yeah,
say.
seriously.
There is a scene, Jacob, in I don't remember which one.
In
The Rock has a
7.
broken arm, and he
Yeah.
just flexes so hard that it just explodes a cast.
They're like,
and
we
it's-
need you, and he's like, I'm,
It's
Oh, no.
fucking
I'm ready.
awesome.
And he like holds like a helicopter machine gun down the street, just like
While
incredible
screaming
one-liners.
family.
Yeah,
Oh,
set pieces are great. Yeah,
completely unrelated. This is only for Sanju. Sanju, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but in the movie that Jacob's seeing tonight, Everything Everywhere All at Once,
I'm seeing it today too.
is the Santa Claus guy from Tim Robinson. He's in it.
way.
He's in it.
Cosmic
And I was the
Gumbo.
Yeah, that's a funny thing because I was and when he showed up in the theater, I was like, oh, but no one else knew.
Oh,
yeah, I
dude.
didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
watch the new season.
But yes,
Cosmic Gumbo.
It's funny because the movie itself, the only word to describe it is cosmic gumbo. But
Yeah.
We will.
Later.
We'll do an episode on it.
Later.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we'll do an episode on that in Memoria.
We could do it with the DJ because DJ's seen it.
Yeah,
we
I
can
saw
add
it.
it to our Exorcist Hour
Exorcist,
of the
Hour of the Wolf, Everything Everywhere,
Everything
all at
Everywhere.
once,
The longest
and
title
Memoria.
ever.
So we
Boom.
could do
There you
that.
go.
Exorcist, Hour of the Wolf, all at once.
Oh,
Ah,
so I shouldn't have talked about it as much because F9's definitely on one of your guys' list after
Oh,
this, right?
number
Yeah, of
one.
course.
Okay, I'll hold off.
So it's my next 4.
I'll
I
hold
I-
off on that then.
I
yeah.
haven't seen
Keep
a
going.
single Fast and Furious movie, but I know F9 is so good. I just had to put it at number one
Yeah.
preemptively.
Watch them.
All right, my
Just remember that this is above Dune, Green Knight,
There,
Let's
okay,
see.
there
Red
comes
Rocket, French
Red
Dispatch,
Rocket.
There comes a
Inside.
there's comes a
Inside.
point when it's just so absurd. Such an action is so absurd. I have to respect it instead of getting angry at it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I have no
sorry,
complaints.
You're number
you
four.
don't hear any shit from me. What? What are we on? Number 4?
Yeah.
Number 4. It's a little film Chandler's never heard of called Licorice Pizza. We've talked. I feel like we've talked this movie to death. It was one of our longest reviews.
Is it really? Wow.
Maybe, I don't know.
Damn.
But recently we have been
I
just
listened
kind of
to
like
it.
chatting a long time about singular movies.
Because it gets mixed up because sometimes we talk about it for the podcast, sometimes we discuss it in length on Gamer Mondays. It's all
We talked a lot about Licorice Pizza, so I feel like there's not much more I could add to that conversation. It's just great. It's just great. Along with The Worst
Fucking
Person in the World, it's killer soundtrack. Keep listening to that again and again. I don't know. I'm almost at a loss as to what exactly to talk about. Like The Worst Person in the World, it has great direction. Obviously, it's PTA, and it's some of the most memorable sequences. Just like almost classic filmmaking, like back to basics, kind of good quality stuff. The the truck driving sequence is obviously the standout one,
Oh,
but the
yeah. That's the best
Streisand.
part.
but the
Yeah.
tail of the cock motorcycle sequence is
The Bridges of Opusan.
that one I think is now my favorite as I think about it more
It's
and
so
more.
hard.
Oh.
And also it ends with Paul McCartney. Fuck, what's the name of the song? Wings.
Wings.
Yeah.
Wings.
It's
Just
not end with that.
Dude, I've been listening to that song
Great.
religiously.
Oh, that
The last
scene.
couple
Okay, they meant the
weeks.
whole movie.
no. The scene. That
Yeah,
scene
yeah, yeah.
is capped off with
Yeah.
that, which is just great.
Let me roll it.
Let me roll it. What more could you want? And great movie. There's nothing else I could add.
Yeah.
And we'll probably talk about it again when Chandler it comes
Yep,
up. On Chandler's
we're
list,
definitely
so
talking about it again.
Yes.
There we go.
All right. My number 4 is Pig.
Wow.
We talked about it already. I
Based
loved Pig.
bacon pig.
Good. No, I'm happy to see it this high
Yeah.
on someone's list.
I just think it's such a fresh approach to like problem solving. Probably my favorite scene of the year. That
Which one? The
Up there.
restaurant scene?
restaurant scene.
Yep.
That might be the best scene Nicolas Cage in his entire career. I mean, it's got to be top 3 at least.
For the record, at the time of recording, Nicolas Cage just did an AMA on Reddit like yesterday or 2 days ago, and he was asked what 3 movies he would preserve if he could, like of his movies, preserve forever. Pig was one of them, which I
Yeah.
thought was really nice.
He was
Oh,
robbed
wow.
of a
The other one,
nomination.
Not his new movie?
What?
He didn't say his new movie that's out?
Nope.
That's coming
He doesn't
out?
give a shit.
That's so sad.
I just want to
Yeah.
say too that he
Funny
also
as
said
hell.
"Bringing Out the Dead," which I highly recommend because it's one of
Leaving Las
Scorsese's
Vegas
best,
too.
and written by our boy, friend of the show, Paul Schrader.
Oh, really? I didn't know he
it's
wrote
so
that.
good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Definitely recommend it. But yeah, continue. Pig is great.
Yeah, he was robbed of a nomination. I just think the movie like clings to you. I just was thinking about it for a while. Sound design's excellent. I think I said in my review, it's a film professor's wet dream for structure. It's like very well structured. Yeah. I
It's
love
so
it.
weird because it's such a slow, meditative movie, but it really doesn't feel that slow at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's 'cause
Also,
Nick
another
Cage.
movie that's separated into parts. It's
Yeah,
title
exactly.
It
Yep.
does,
I think
yep,
it's
I can-
3
I
or
forgot.
4 parts.
Stupid.
I did too.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's weird, dude.
I hate this so much. I hate it so fucking much.
I don't outright hate
What
it.
if Licorice Pizza did it?
Licorice Pizza did not do it.
No, I said, what if it did?
It would make sense because that
Would you be
movie is
upset or
very
would you-
vignetted.
Yeah, but would
No.
you hate it then?
I think
Okay.
it's
That makes
partially.
sense.
I think-
If there was a giant credit that just said "Tail of the Cock," I would love that.
Green Knight also
Whatever.
has it too. We didn't mention that. Green
Does
Knight
it?
also
It
does
does.
Mhm.
Fuck, I hate it.
What?
Don't
I think
don't mention it.
Oh
no,
my
Green
God.
Knight does.
Yes, it does.
Chandler,
It does.
it's different though because it doesn't cut to black. The
It's, like,
titles are
within-
in the movie.
Yeah, that's
the
really
only
cool.
two from this year that get a pass are French Dispatch.
No, there's no
and
fucking
Worst Person in the
pass,
World.
Chandler. This doesn't count. It's a
I'm
different
giving it
category.
the chapter pass.
I think you can't outright hate it. I think it's partially a response to streaming. I think it's partially just a trend, a aesthetic, stylistic trend. I think it works in a lot of movies.
If I forget that it's in the movie, then it's useless. That's my criteria. I forgot the Green Knight had it. I remember very distinctly The Worst Person in the World, which is weird because I didn't like it at the time, but it works now. What are we even talking about? Pig, good movie.
Pig's a good movie. Anyway,
I forgot.
you're number 3,
all right.
Chandler.
Well, wait. Hold on a
It's-
second. Still
That's
on
some
Pig.
talk.
Okay, still more Pig.
I thought we were moving on. I'll talk about Pig. I love Pig.
Oh yeah, no. So Pig, I feel like it's one of the movies from this. It's hard to like gauge what movies from a year are going to have long-lasting staying power because even like movies, you could look back at like some years, like 50 years ago, and you're like, this movie that won Best Picture is now what the fuck is this movie? No one knows. So it's really difficult to gauge that. But I just have a feeling Pig is going to have staying power, mostly because Nicolas Cage just keeps making movies and he's just kind of an actor that will have continued relevance for a while and will be an interesting footnote in history of cinema. Nick Cage, feels weird saying that, but I feel like this is gonna be a strong cult classic movie going in the future.
I really enjoy that it's a movie that feels rare these days, but it's a movie that prioritizes empathy over everything. And I think it's something, regardless of how you feel about the movie, it's just a nice breath of fresh air. In just, I don't know, I just love it. It warms my heart. I still have problems with it, and I've been waiting to like definitively give my thoughts on it for a rewatch because the cinematography is really dark, and I can't tell if it's just my projector in the movie theater. But it is just like a beautiful little movie.
Almost
I'm
every movie that came out in this year in my top 10 is a movie that warmed my heart in some way. Except for Inside, which just kind of crushed me
I think mine's the
existentially.
opposite.
Well,
I think mine's the exact opposite.
Set her on fire.
Interesting.
I
We just
guess
have
so.
different. We just have different approaches because we have similar movies.
Yeah. I will say the last thing about Pig is deceptively simple dialogue. Simple dialogue that says a lot and is smart with its exposition. So
Honestly,
I appreciated that.
there's a lot of obviously great lines from movies that I've seen this year, but I don't think there's a single one that I don't think of more than "We Don't Get a Lot to Care About," which is just I remember hearing that in the theater and just going, "Fuck."
Yeah. That whole scene. And the restaurant owner
Goddamn
guy is
Cage.
like perfect,
Yeah.
like the perfect response
I need to
to what
watch
he's
it.
saying.
This is God. I wonder if there's a comment. Also important to note, it's the director's debut feature.
A lot of
A
directorial
lot of great
debuts.
debuts this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Sarnowski.
That's cool.
So that's
He's doing
nice.
a Quiet Place spin-off, according to Letterboxd.
Oh,
Untitled.
whoa.
I don't know if it's when that's coming out, but that's what it says on Letterboxd.
Wait, really?
It says untitled Quiet Place spin-off.
Interesting.
Why? Whatever.
Uh,
Okay. Good job, Michael.
lastly, about Pig, more movies need to be filmed in Portland, and I love that it fully goes in for the dreary Pacific Northwest vibe and aesthetic.
I love that aesthetic.
Perfect. It's
Also,
I
it's a
could
cute
live in the aesthetics of Pig, and I could
sure.
eat the food. Great food movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My number 3 is one we've talked about a lot, and it's The French Dispatch. French Dispatch.
Hey.
I don't know what else to say other than I didn't expect it to like it as much as I did because I don't know, it seemed pretty. I wasn't getting good vibes from the trailer. It just seemed like way too much of Wes Anderson's thing. The movies of his that I don't like, which are only 2, I'll say 1.5 because I've yet to give Steve Zissou another watch. But both Steve Zissou and Moonrise Kingdom to me felt more style over substance. This one I got the feeling of, and it was one of the best, if not the best, movie-going experiences of the year because I went on a Tuesday afternoon. I left work early. I just went by myself. I sat in the middle of the theater like Wes would have wanted. There's nobody else in the theater. I watched it, and I did not nearly expect it to be as emotional as it was. It's got it's one of those things where it's just all over the place in terms of tone and almost genre, because it just goes into so many different directions. But it was so weird because it had so much to say, and I really love the anthology nature of it, because I usually don't care for these kinds of stories. But I think centering it around a magazine and all the writers and the articles was a really like interesting way of framing an anthology. And it's I think Wes Anderson, over the years, people have like accused him of losing that sort of heart that was at the core of his first few movies. But I think something like Grand Budapest Hotel has it a lot, obviously. But this one, I don't know what it was, but that little section, spoiler alert, in the final vignette, when the father is reunited with his son, it's just a little bit in the midst of an animated car chase. I don't know, it just got to me. And the end, I don't know, when they're all typing up the eulogy, it's just it's a fun, kinetic, vibrant love letter to creativity, writing, and storytelling. And it's just, give it time. I know people like it in general, but I think it's got a lot more going on than people give it credit for. And it's easily like my favorite of his. I was going to say my favorite of his since Grand Budapest Hotel, but it only made one other. So all I'm saying is that it's better than Isle of Dogs.
I really like that moment with Jeffrey Wright and the chef when he's like
talk about the poison,
the poison, and he's saying, "I've tasted something new."
Like,
that was
like Pig, another heartwarming movie that centers, or not centers, but has food in it in a climactic scene.
Kind of centered around that vignette a little bit. But
also, I just want to say, thank God for Batman, because Jeffrey Wright is like goated, and I hope we see him in more stuff. I hope he becomes a Wes Anderson regular, because he was so fucking good in that movie.
Needs to be in more movies.
I keep saying to my girlfriend Callie, I keep talking like Lieutenant, or is he Commissioner Gordon in the Batman?
He's Gordon, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, is he Commissioner or Lieutenant?
He's not Commissioner yet.
He's Lieutenant. Yes, I thought. Okay. Or just get your goddamn hands up, you son of a bitch. That's what he says to the Riddler. I keep saying that. It's so addicting. But
last thing I'll say about French Dispatch is it is one of the best examples of an anthology film, and more anthology movies need to actually put effort into like creating a cohesive narrative beyond or within the anthology itself, because I feel like that's what goes a long way. I don't necessarily have anything against just straight up anthology films where it's just a bunch of shorts put together, but that's not as interesting. It's not as engaging.
Yeah,
this is great. I watched what is it? Where is it? It's on my list somewhere. Another anthology movie. Ryusuke Hamaguchi's Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy.
I didn't realize that was an anthology.
Yeah, it's an anthology. Neither did I until I started watching it. It's got 3 shorts in it, and they're all really good. But it just kind of felt like, okay, here's another one, and I have to get reinvested in everything. But there was the French Dispatch, which was the opposite of that, where it felt very cohesive in a way that I appreciated, and I would love to see more anthology films like that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, my number 3. I was gonna say, when I watched Titan, I was thinking, wow, being sexually attracted to a car, that's an interesting concept. And then I watched Drive My Car, and I'm like, oh, I am sexually attracted to a car now. Because the car in Drive My Car is so good. That's my number 3, by the way.
Also my number 3.
Oh,
wow.
Hey.
Wow, okay.
That's
great. Yeah,
it is also on my list, but it's not my number 3.
Okay.
Nice.
This is 4.
I just skipped it.
He's like 11. It's 11.
But it's so
list revision.
It's so subtly heartbreaking, but like, oh, just the nuances of that are so cool. Because I was like, when I was watching, I'm like, I'm never gonna write something this subtle and nuanced ever, because it's so, I don't know, it's just genius the way he tackles it, and you still feel like relaxed the whole time. And then that scene you were talking about
It's
when they have dinner with the family. Remind me of Linklater. I was telling you it. Just, It felt so nice to just be there. And then the rest of the movie, it's just like you feel like kind of sad, but you want to just be there with them the whole time. Give them a
Also, Just
really
want to
is this-
say, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it really is the sum of its parts, where it's like we're talking about DJ, where it's like it's so subtle and nuanced that even though it is 3 hours, it's like there's not much I would cut out of it because it's such a cohesive like emotional experience by the end. Like I felt it was very emotionally resonant for me. Like even after had finished it, I feel like that runtime's a big part of it. But
Yeah, I wouldn't cut
Anyway.
anything either. What were you gonna say, Chandler?
I was gonna say, so it's adapted from a collection of short stories written by Haruki Murakami, who also wrote the short story that involved that inspired Burning.
Burning. Chandler and I. Note: Chandler and I are Murakami pilled.
I love
too.
I love
Burning's great.
Murakami. Murakami's an amazing author. But I just want to say that it's adapted from a collection of short stories called Men Without Women. And it's very interesting the way he adapts it because he takes elements from the other short stories. The short story, obviously, one of the short stories is called Drive My Car, and it's basically this story. But he takes elements from the other short stories and incorporates them into this main story. But what I find funny is that the book has 5 short stories, and Drive My Car is the shortest one, and he turns it into a fucking 3-hour long movie.
pull the Hobbit.
Yeah, but Drive My Car that is how you should adapt a story.
Yeah.
Like, don't copy it beat for beat. Take its essence, add to it, take away from it, but it is just perfect.
It's interesting. I read a sentiment that I thought was very true. That this is the like I love Burning, which is another adaptation of Murakami short story. But this one captures like what like Murakami as a writer in film. And the interesting part about that is like the stuff that Hamaguchi adds in, his unique stuff, is the most Murakami-esque things within the movie.
Yeah.
And it's very great representation of him as a writer. Cannot recommend reading his books enough.
For people who want to get into Murakami, just know that every one of his books that I've read so far is incredibly horny and sad.
Yes.
Which is
Based.
Really horny. Like it's explicitly. There's cock.
like stupidly. They're over here.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a lot
I'm
of
in.
cock.
I'm in.
It writes cock.
Linguistic cock.
If it's still on your the left to be talked about, or if it's gonna be on your list, then let's just end it there.
I'll say a Waiting for Godot reference is extremely based because it's one of the only plays that I know
Wow.
a lot
Is that the
about.
play that they're okay? Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's the first.
It's Chekhov. Yeah.
Great play, by the way.
It is a great play. I studied it at ASU. We had to study.
At one point, I
Right.
had ambitions of making an adaptation of Waiting for Godot, which is
Put Gal
Easy.
Gadot in it.
pretty easy.
You're just waiting for Gal Gadot.
I'd rather slit my wrists than put
Oh
Gal
my
Gadot.
God,
Jesus.
Jacob.
Zionist.
But it's
I feel like the sentiment of that statement was the exact opposite of Zionism, but okay.
I know. I'm just kidding. I don't know where she lands on the Israel-Palestine spectrum. I just know she's Israeli, right?
She's
an
Israeli.
Israeli. Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right.
Anyway.
3, right?
anyway.
Yeah, number 3.
Is it-
Enough
Yours,
Zion.
Jacob.
There's enough
It's yours,
Zionism
Jacob.
to fill the Nile. What it is?
Fill
Oh
Palestine.
yeah,
Fill
we were
the
just that
Nile.
was DJ's.
Jesus.
My number
Yeah,
3.
3.5 minutes.
Oh shit! Fuck.
Yep.
My number 3,
Sorry,
another
nerd.
movie we've talked about before, so yeah, I can just wrap this up in 3.5 minutes. It's Bo Burnham's Inside, which, like Sanju, was also my number 1 for quite some time. I'm gonna say my top 3 are like goated in my mind. They it could be a 3-way tie, very very sure, for like the top one. But Inside, there's just something so it like got to me as like the core of me as like a person, and I related to it too much in almost a painful way, and it made me feel things, and I like that, and it was. Yet this was just a year of me watching movies the first time and being like, that was good, and then watching them the second time and just kind of being floored by the fact that I missed something so profoundly. Like I feel like that happened with Green Knight, happened with the French Dispatch, it happened with Bo Burnham Inside. I watched it first time, I was like, that was good, and then watched it the second time, and I was just practically in tears. But I will say that Inside should be studied in film school, like in a way that I feel like we've been waiting for a truly modern 21st century social media inspired cinematic achievement. I think this is it. I think there is room to improve upon this like self-introspective but also self-made cinema, but there's something very like uniquely expressive about this movie in that it's just Bo Burnham making something in his house using lights and like programming them all himself on an iPad or whatever he used and doing all of that.
Writing an album,
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
rock opera, or however you want to call it.
And it's not just that, but it's the fact that everyone has access to those tools, essentially, maybe not the same level of equipment that
Yeah.
he did, but
Mhm.
they're, like I said before early in the episode, it's just it's inspiring, and it is just the language. It is a merge of like YouTube videos and cinema together, and it's just a happy merger of those two things, and it's perfect, and I love it, and it's fun.
I also just want to say, because I find it interesting that when this came out, we were all visiting. We're in LA for something. I don't even fucking remember. But when it came out, I told you guys about it. I'm like, oh yeah, look, I love Bo Burnham. You know, this new thing's come out, and both you and Sanju were like, it's not my thing. And then I was the only one who ended up not having it on my list. But
I wasn't a huge fan of his other specials. I think he's super talented.
I really like what, or not what? No, I guess what. And
I gotta rewatch.
The other one that came before it or after it. Make Happy. Both
Make
are great,
Happy.
but Inside is his best. I'll agree to that. But yeah, great. But number 2, this is also a lame duck choice. Did it this morning. But my number 2 is Come On, Come On.
Hey, it's my number 2.
Wow.
You said that's your number 2?
Yeah.
Nice.
Didn't expect that.
I guess we can share it.
Where was it? Where was it before, Chandler?
13.
Oh my gosh.
Such a big jump.
Love Come On, Come On. I love everything about Come On, Come On. It looks great.
Same.
It's got such a weird little. I love movies like Kurosami does this a lot. Where, well, not a lot. I'm specifically referencing Close Up, where it's like pseudo documentary, but also weaves that into an actual narrative. I love the black and white cinematography. I think Joaquin Phoenix, who is a great actor, he's great at playing characters, but this is obviously a character, but he's just so fucking good at this.
Just a normal guy.
Yeah, just a regular
Cool.
guy.
Just
Just
cool.
wears a hoodie and makes
Yeah.
podcasts. But one of my favorite performances of the year, and this is rare because it's never a kid, but the kid in Come On, Come
he's
On
so
is
good.
absolutely incredible.
As I was
I
going
love him.
through my
Yeah.
like alternative Oscar picks, I was actually going to say best supporting actor.
He's
Could've gone to him.
he's
He should've
British too. He has an English
heck?
Yeah.
accent. He's not even
Really?
American.
Yep.
I
That's
didn't know that.
crazy. He's so
Nuts.
good. It's the first movie to make me tear up since Paddington 2, specifically the ending where,
Wow.
spoiler alert, the kid talks about how he's afraid he's never going to remember the time that he spent with Joaquin Phoenix. There's
Yeah.
just something about that that's just fucked up my heart.
Yeah.
But it's such a weird little movie. It's so, again, a theme that we were talking about, movies that are warm and just so nice, kind spirited. I don't know. It's such a unique, weird little movie, but I think about it all the time, and I've only seen it once. But it's a movie that I'm very excited to watch.
Yeah.
It's one
Me too.
because, again, we talked about this where we don't necessarily judge movies off of just first watch, but just kind of how they sit with you.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know, whenever I'm feeling like depressed or anxious, I just think about this movie and it really helps.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Kids
I
are
feel
so
like-
much smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I cried the whole last half of the movie. Just father son stuff just gets to me so hard, and
Yeah. Ugh. God.
Yeah, and yeah, the performances, Joaquin just playing a normal guy, but still being so lovable. The kid, yeah. I love this director's other work too. So it's just I knew I
20th
was gonna
Century
like
20th
this.
Century Women.
Yeah.
20
Great.
Cent-
Which is great.
DJ, we saw that
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
when it came out.
And Beginners too. I loved when I don't remember it that well, but I remember loving that. But yeah, 20th Century Women. So I knew I was gonna like this, but I didn't
Mike
know it was gonna
Mills,
blow me
yep.
away.
Yeah. Because I
Yep.
don't know, it's one of those, every once in a while there'll just be a trailer I'll just watch a fuck ton of times. And the trailer for Come On, Come On is just Joaquin Phoenix reading from. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a great encapsulation of how I felt about the fucking movie, where he's just reading that little story meant for a little kid, and by the
Yeah.
end of it, he's crying, and the kid's like, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, "No."
Seriously.
It's just, God. If I ever end up having a kid one day, it'll be because this movie convinced me it was a decent idea.
Exactly.
Probably not a good idea.
I never
Yeah.
watched the trailer for this actually.
Me
Another
either.
Watch it; it's great.
Yeah.
I'm
Come on,
curious how they shot all those little interview
They're just real
cutaways.
interviews. They
Yeah,
just
that's what I
get
figured.
kids.
That they just kind of
they found
incorporate.
children, as
Yeah.
one does, you know.
Hey. you.
Yeah, and they're like super profound. Some of these,
Yeah.
it's like,
You know,
So
they,
the
they
kids
pulled
talking
up
about
they
it.
pulled up in a white van and said, "Hey kid, you want to be in the movie?"
You want to be part of a
Joaquin
podcast?
Phoenix, in order to sway them a little easier, was dressed up as the Joker.
you want to do a podcast with the Joker? Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
if
you
if
hit every
Joaquin
note.
Phoenix just drove up in a white van, opened the bag, like, "You want to be in a movie?" I would be terrified, and
Yeah, that'd be scary.
I'd be interested though. I might get in that van.
It'll just become the screening scene from The Master, where
Yeah.
you ask him his name like 30 times.
God.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's
come
my
on, it's
number
great.
two.
It's my number 11. Just missed out. Yeah, I could
Damn!
easily see
Fuck
it
you,
getting.
pig.
No, it's Spencer Chandler.
Oh, sorry.
It is no. I like Pig more than Come On, Come On. It didn't. I wasn't quite as emotionally invested in it. Like I felt like it was a little too obvious for me at some
Yeah.
points. So I wasn't. It didn't quite unlock the heartstrings as it did for you guys. But it's
Yeah.
still great movie.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. That's everything I have to say about it too.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Come on. Watch it. It's coming out on Blu-ray soon. So, Sanju, what is I? Oh no, Jacob. I guess.
It's
would be
yeah.
your
It's,
number
it's
two.
Jacob's
Yeah.
number 2.
I don't know where to begin because we're now at the point in the podcast where I get to talk about very special movies for me. The number one, number two, maybe even more so than Inside. I could easily see this one becoming my number one, and it is Drive My Car. But it's
Excellent
great
movie.
too.
It was my number
And
1 for a little bit, like until like last night. Or
This is
Yeah.
continuing a now it's a 2 streak of modern Murakami adaptations that are just like hitting it out of the park, and I can't wait for more. I cannot believe that this will end. I am gonna bet with the next 4 years we'll have another great art house
hope.
Murakami adaptation from the East.
Just waiting for
somewhere.
that Kafka
Yeah.
on the Shore adaptation.
I would love that. I don't know how you do it.
No.
I don't-
You released 2 movies, sister movies. One about the kid, and another one about the old man who talks to cats.
Yeah. Drive My Car. Earlier I said that Dune was probably the theater experience of the year, but maybe Drive My Car equaled that because there was something. It was about like 2/3 of the way through the movie, and I was thinking to myself in the theater that this is good. This is good. I'm not sure it's great. I'm not sure I'm loving this as much as I expected to. And then the last half hour, 45 minutes just kind of emotionally destroyed me in a way that I was not expecting. And any movie that can affect me on an emotional level that much in a theater, which is very rare for me, is something special and something to be cherished. And I watched it again the last night, and it was even I didn't have as much of an emotional reaction as I did the first time, which was kind of a bummer because I just wanted to cry again a little bit, but I didn't. But the filmmaking was even better, and the artistry of the conversations and the flow of the dialogue was the whole thing just kind of like coalesced into this is just a great fucking movie. It is something so intimately human about it, and introspective, and so special, and just dealing with grief and trauma and loss in a way that is genuine in a way that Pig also managed to sort of accomplish this, but this was just so kind of down to earth in a way that was unexpected and real and raw and beautiful, and I love it, and I cannot wait for the Criterion to come out, because it will.
It will.
I
July.
I predicted.
really?
Well, I'd imagine.
Oh.
They said it was. They confirmed it was coming out.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I
Oh,
don't know
okay,
when.
sick.
I don't know where it is. I think I either wrote it down or I said it in a podcast with Chandler. I predicted like 3 months ago that they were going to announce it April 15th. So that's my bet this month. The Criterion
Okay.
Collection
Alright.
will
So
announce it.
July release.
That would be cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think it definitely is another example of a human movie. It has so much going on. I mean, about this character's emotional repression, aging, grief, trauma, and just like, I don't know,
Sexually attractive car.
sexually, dude, that car is so sick.
It's a
Such
great
a cool
car.
ass car.
One of the best movie cars.
Yeah,
Seriously.
perfect. I was thinking that like those shots, I don't know, like the helicopter shots, whatever shots when they're driving down the highway. I'm like,
Yeah.
you could pick that car out from a mile away. It's so unique, and
the car has like a perfect body to window ratio. Like the windows are just like they're big enough
Mhm.
to where like you can see inside the car, and like there's you get the
Mhm.
feeling for that, but they're not big enough where like it's absurd.
sure,
Oh, that reminds me. That scene in the back when he's talking to the other actor was just
dude, holy shit.
viscerally like, dude. I did not expect that story to like be told. The rest of the story to be told to you, and just the fact that this other guy knew it, I was, oh,
Another great
Mind blown.
example in writing of like setup and payoff. Like there are so many
Yeah.
examples in the movie of where little things are brought up once and then they come back in unexpected ways later on in the
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah, like the driver. I mean, her arc is great.
The dog.
Yeah,
yeah.
how do you not love the dog? And I don't know, just its theory, or this take on just life itself, like existence. It seemed very profound, and things just exist, and like, I don't know necessarily like how you perceive them. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's
Yeah.
very profound.
Just watch it.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
It's also another like French Dispatch, another movie that's about the creative process, but not about filmmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves is directors making movies about filmmaking. I don't know why I hate it so much. I'm just like, no one gives a shit, guys. We like filmmaking, but no one cares. They just want to watch a good movie. And so I love it when directors do something like a little different. Like they approach filmmaking or their filmmaking backstory or the creative process from a little different direction. Almost
Yeah.
like doesn't matter.
It's less
But,
indulgent. too,
Yeah,
as
it
well.
less
Yeah,
indulgent.
perfect word for it.
Yes. This one's about theater, and I love theater too. We need a good theater movie is always great. I love Waiting for Godot. I also read it, and Chekhov. Read a few of his plays. Great stuff.
Waiting for Godot is great. I liked too the structure of kind of interspersing the rehearsals and kind of having that payoff as the performance of the play at the end. I was like, I don't know, that whole like last, I don't know, 2 minutes. Well, I guess before the little tease thing at the end, but that whole play performance was like, I was just gripped. That whole sequence. I literally, when I finished it, I rewound it and watched the last like 10 minutes again. Just incredible. Definitely, easily could be number one, and it was
Great.
for a while. for me.
Another great soundtrack. Very simple, but I just love the drums, kind of jazzy drums.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very not used much, but when it is, it's effective.
All I needed was the Beatles song.
And cock.
It was missing those two things. So
All right, where are we?
True. We're at Sanju's number 2.
No, my number two. My number two
Which
is
is Halloween Kills.
actually,
is Halloween
wait,
Kills. No, it's good.
wait, isn't there? in Drive My Car? There are
Cock?
sex scenes. Yeah, don't we get a
It
little
doesn't-
glimpse at least?
I don't know if we.
I don't think we see
No,
cock.
it-
We do not
it-
see cock.
I would have
I don't
known
know.
if there was.
I watched it.
No.
He's like, let me check my log.
When I watched it with my mom, I excused myself during those scenes. We
Oh,
can't.
dude,
Smart.
that
Smart.
is the worst. There's nothing worse. It's the worst.
Luckily, there's
Yeah.
only 2 of them at the and they're at the beginning of
At
the
the
movie. So
You
I,
should
Yeah.
watch. You should watch The Handmaiden with your mom.
oh no! Oh
Oh no! Don't do that.
Wouldn't wish
Let's
that on my
abort
worst
that
enemy.
idea.
Um, my number 2 is worst person in the world.
Wow.
This was we've talked a lot about theater experiences, and this was one of my favorites of 2021. Just like we've talked about it a little bit already, but just throughout the film, our protagonist is meeting people with different answers to that existential question of like seeking that adventure. Some people create art, some people, I don't know, simply or have a family. Some people have a family, and some people are just like simply living, simply existing. And I just thought that was, I don't know, just that journey of her, finding these different people, these different theories on life, and they all have their own little flaws and unique traits. And the movie's not up its own ass, despite being pretty like grand and dealing with a lot of like big
It's
concepts.
playful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's playful for something this heavy. You could
Right.
call it. Yeah. I do love me a good movie about an aimless 20-something.
Yeah.
It's very far removed from my life, but it's good to know.
She's actually she's turning 30 in the movie.
I'm kidding.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Also,
true. It's
also like
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham's inside.
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Lots of connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it pretty significantly,
We
but
hit it.
it's
I
just
think
great.
there's anything else
It's
we should
awesome.
bring up.
What else? Oh, I like that the last 30 minutes, I think, is one of my favorite parts of the movie. I know DJ is not it's definitely
Yes.
a jump.
Oh, Jacob too.
Yeah, Jacob.
No, I didn't say that.
Jacob agrees. Jacob's
Oh, you're talking
grace.
about the epilogue. You're talking about the epilogue.
I was talking about like the very last
Last
5 minutes.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last-
Which
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually I agree with you, Jacob. I agree.
I
Okay,
liked it.
Sorry.
It's so weird how it hit us all differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that part of it. Yeah. I just think that whole I don't know, set piece or that whole little storyline about, her ex and he's withering away, and I forget, there's a line about like he just doesn't give a shit about his comics or anything like that. He just wants
Yeah,
to
yeah.
spend more time with her.
Yeah,
I think
It's-
that's
Yeah.
kind of what the movie's saying is like prioritize that.
It's definitely one of those movies that is a bit of a gut punch for people like me and Jacob who spend way too much money on Criterions. Fuck.
Fuck the Criterions. Yeah.
Should spend that money on a trip to fucking Brazil or something. But, hey,
Norway.
whatever.
Go to Norway.
Why go to Brazil when I can own Brazil?
On
Hey,
yeah.
there you go. All 5 versions.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah. Worst person in the world, number 2.
Kill.
All right, now Chandler
Chandler,
has
number
to
one.
reveal.
Number
Oh, we already know.
one.
Let's just.
I know.
we already
I'm pretty
So-
sure we all know what it is, but
Yep,
my
it's-
number one is Many Saints
It's the
of
Matrix.
Newark.
Oh,
Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, come on, fellas. It's Licorice Pizza. Licorice Pizza is, I'm going to say it now definitively because I've sat on it for a while. I'm going to go out on a limb and just say it finally. This is probably my favorite PTA movie.
wow.
Yeah,
It's
up
I'm
there.
sorry, Inherent Vice. You've officially been dethroned. It has everything I love in
Punch
movies.
Drunk Love?
No.
It's vignetted. It has amazing side characters that only exist in one scene. It's got Tom Waits. It's got a killer
Seriously.
soundtrack. It's got little 30-year-old men in kids' bodies. It's one of those movies where every time I watch it, which I've seen it 4 to 5 times, I don't even fucking remember how many times I've seen it now. I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, okay, this is a movie about Alana. And the second time I saw it, okay, no, this is a Gary movie. And I don't know, every time I see it, I go in it with like a different appreciation for the 2 leads. It does show cock, technically. The tail of the cock is cock.
Oh.
It
He is
shows
a cock.
cock. It's a movie that I don't know. It's so weird. It's a very odd movie because it's about two characters without ever really being about either of the characters, but it's also kind of more about a place. It's a movie that sometimes I see the ending as beautiful and hopeful. Sometimes I see it as like really sad and just depressing. It's got so many fucking hilarious scenes. Like we already talked about the Sean Penn, Tom Waits scene. Bradley Cooper's just
Bradley Cooper.
15 minutes of this movie is fucking hilarious. But I think the funniest scene to me is obviously the casting agent,
Dude,
who's in
oh my
Phantom
God, it's
Thread.
incredible.
That scene is so funny. I appreciate a movie that just starts. It just immediately begins with these two meeting each other. It's just got, God, I just, it's one of those movies that I feel is just going to be like a special little movie. I don't exactly, as much as I love the two actors, I feel like both, so what's his name? Cooper Hoffman and Alana Haim, they're gonna like they had something very special in this movie that people are just not gonna understand and not gonna be able to use their strengths correctly. It's just a movie that I obsess over. I think about it all the time. I've seen it 5 times. I'm gonna get the Blu-ray when it comes out. It's just easily my number one, and I knew it was gonna be from the first trailer. And I didn't want to be like the guy who's like, this is. I had it in my head that it was gonna be my number one. Because for the longest time, French Dispatch was just a little bit above, but I can't deny it. Like, this movie was made to tailor my
for you.
It's just incredible. Love it.
I like John C. Reilly's in literally like 7
Yeah.
seconds.
Yep, John C. Reilly is there for literally a second. Also, another funny part is just when he gets arrested for murder for no reason.
That is a good point.
Hilarious.
You think it's gonna be like a significant story beat? Nah.
I love movies with a lot of running, and this movie has a fuck ton of running.
And
Yeah.
Benny Safdie.
And Benny Safdie.
It's true.
I love
Mm.
I love that subplot so much.
All right. We're cutting off Chandler. He could
Okay.
talk forever about
Yep.
Licorice Pizza.
whole
DJ's number
episode.
one.
All right, my number one is Malignant. Okay, so Malignant is it just blew me out of the water with how like crazy it is, and while I was watching it the first time, I was like, what is this movie? Like, what 3 different times I thought it was a different movie that I was watching, and then I realized like, oh, it's like the ultimate sci-fi channel movie. It was born
True.
to be
True.
on sci-fi, and James Wan, like his movies, typically that's where they go. So I think he was leaning into that. He was like, that's the kind of movie I'm gonna make then. And
Yeah,
so
he
you
took
can
a
tell,
big swing for sure. I respect him.
yeah, I mean, you can tell with the actors that they used and the lighting, and I'm just like, okay, he's going for it. This is a sci-fi channel movie, and it's it's just so fun and memorable, and I love that ending. I didn't expect it. I thought I did. I thought I knew it was coming, and I didn't. Nothing could prepare me for that.
Yeah, it's definitely bold. Even from the very beginning, like the
Mhm.
credit intercutting the credits and that prologue or whatever you want to call it. You just like
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, okay.
Time to
like-
cut the cancer out, and it
Yeah.
zooms in on the gun and all that stuff. I
It
love
is
The
one of the
Doctor.
most,
Yeah.
it is one of the most unique movies of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not as crazy about it, but it's hard to deny that it is a movie that like it is its own experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that your number one is a movie I have not even seen.
Oh damn it.
Quite frankly, that's why I'm really glad we had you on this episode, because you're providing a different perspective, and that's important.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mhm.
I figured, I'm gonna have F9 and Malignant on there. Like the audience does not expect this at all.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I definitely watch *Malignant*, but don't watch it by yourself because I feel like it's one of
Yeah.
those movies you kind of have to watch with other
Yeah,
people to sort
For
of
sure.
fully get it. I can't imagine what it was like. Oh no, I did see it in a theater. There's just nobody else there.
I watched it with one other guy, and
Yeah.
when the scene, like when it changes on you near the end, I was like,
Yeah,
oh my god.
yeah, yeah.
Was he buying into it?
I couldn't tell. He was like 2 rows behind me.
Oh, okay.
And then I left first. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's my number one. Check it out.
It's
Check it out.
It's insane.
Check it out. All right, my number one is the only The Green Knight. And
Oh
Wow,
shit.
okay.
I don't
This
even know why I
is-
didn't put that together.
my
Yeah, for some reason
yeah.
I was thinking of
I forgot to.
Coda.
Have you?
Coda
I don't-
Sweet.
If you've looked at my favorite movies list, it's been
Yeah,
the,
that's true.
I've been
top
avoiding
for
all
a
of your
while.
guys' lists.
Yeah, same. I try to avoid it.
Well, good on you. I do not have the same self-control. I will, if you have a public list, I will look at it. I'll do it. But The Green Knight is cinema. It is it perhaps the biggest surprise of the year. Because I didn't like it exactly the first time I watched
We
it.
have video evidence of Jacob pre-enlightenment, which is
As we
always
said
okay.
fun.
previously. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it fulfills some sort of like dream inside of me to finally have a good medieval fantasy epic film. And like I grew up on Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I grew up on Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings is perhaps the reason why I am into filmmaking.
Me too.
And this is like, we do not get many fantasy Arthurian legend medieval movies, and this was
We don't get a lot of fantasy films to care for.
this was one that even after the first viewing I thought a lot about, and then upon returning to it, it just kind of like struck a chord in me, and it kind of all like the pieces all fit together in a way that they didn't the first time, and in a way that just kind of like appealed to that inner child in me. And that's part of the reason why. But I think it is to borrow a phrase, cinema.
It is definitely
it's-
cinema.
It's a bit indulgent. It's a bit strange. It's not for everyone. I will admit this. It's oddly paced, but
Very
every frame, every scene is just unique and beautiful, and just telling a story in a expertly cinematic way. The lighting, the last scene, the Green Knight confrontation scene, that whole set and the yellow lighting in there is just,
It's beautiful.
oh,
It's
can't
the
get
second.
enough of it.
It's the second best A24 movie to have a really weird, fucked up ending with credit songs that play a mid-century jovial tune. With obviously the first being The Lighthouse. It is great.
I
It's
was
great.
yesterday after watching Parallel Mothers Drive My Car. It was like 11 o'clock. I was sorely tempted to give The Green Knight yet another rewatch before going to bed.
Jeez.
I didn't because I needed to get up fairly early to do stuff before this. But it is definitely
Cinema.
one of my favorite movies of the year. It just felt very personal, not in the way that like Drive My Car or Inside like that like kind of struck me on an emotional level. It just felt like I felt like a kid again, just watching a knight going on an epic quest, and it also kind of satisfied the adult and the cinema nerd in me that there's plenty to analyze and to look back on. And of course, it is one of the great movie endings of the year. I will never get tired of watching
Perfect ending.
the final line, "Now off with
Yeah.
your head," which
Yeah.
you just
Good ending.
if you want the answer to the ending of the movie, you just insert a comma into that sentence and says "now off," comma, with your head.
True. And it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chandler, you still have the cringe fantasy opinion that you don't like fantasy except for
yeah.
Lord of the Rings and Game of
And
Thrones?
now Green Knight. I
And
don't even
now
like
Green Knight.
Game of Thrones anymore.
No
The
one
only
does.
things that get a fantasy pass are Lord of the Rings, Green Knight, and the Dark
Souls.
Souls series. Yep.
And
And The
Warcraft.
Witcher, kind of.
All right,
Warcraft
The
and
Witcher,
Warcraft. Go on.
kind of.
Sanju, number
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
My number one is Red Rocket. I
Ooh,
Really?
I forgot
Based.
about this. Yeah.
Yes,
Based.
I fucking love Sean Baker. I love that neo-realism. This movie is uncomfortable as hell, hilarious. I was sweaty. I was laughing. It's just such a unique experience. It looks great. There's just some sort of charm with the way Sean Baker films things and edits things, and
It's
the
so
performance-
improvisational, his process.
yeah,
He goes into it knowing that he only plans about 50% of the movie and lets the other stuff happen. One element, just real quick sidetrack, is that scene where Nikki, what's his name? Mikey like professes his love to the donut shop girl, and there's like a train that comes in the background. Apparently they like just saw the train was coming and they filmed that scene just so they would have something with the train in the
that's so
background.
cool.
And the actual like horn you hear is like the train guy honking the horn. And when the Strawberry goes, what are you saying? As he's professing his love, she literally couldn't hear what he was saying. So it's
Wow.
fun. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun little stories behind the movie.
Yeah, and that whole scene with all the construction workers. I think you told me this, Chandler, is like most of those guys are just crew guys, and like
Yep.
it's like an actual donut shop. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just love. There's something so charming about that, and the themes of the movie with like exploitation and just like this. Our main character is just this charming asshole,
man.
that horrible person
Terrible guy. Yeah.
that sort of gets his way but doesn't. I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
like
Horrifying. Dude.
There's cock.
there is, and
Yeah,
it's
as
cock
we've
of the
said.
year.
Yeah, definitely
Cock
cock.
of the year.
Cock with
100%
with-
cock of the year.
We're awarding
NSYNC?
that official split take award. Cock of the year.
Cock of the year.
We
Also, cock that was that whole scene was filmed without a permit.
based.
crap.
Epic.
Yeah, I mean, how do you how do you
Herzog
not
style,
love that?
baby.
Yep. You don't need
After
permits to film.
After I finished watching it, I texted, I think, the group chat, and I was like, I didn't know I was allowed to watch this on film. Just how, like, all the things that happen in this movie, I'm like, am I allowed? to
Dude,
do
yeah.
this?
I was so uncomfortable, and I didn't know the age of the Strawberry actress either until after the fact. She's older
Yeah.
than us, I think, but
Really?
god damn, yeah, I think she's
Yeah,
like 27 or something.
Oh,
It's
thank
really
God.
gonna pave the way for main characters having underage relationships.
And licorice pizza.
Someone
Jeez.
said
Oh,
on
another-
Letterboxd
yeah.
that Red Rocket is what people think licorice
Yeah.
pizza is.
Seriously.
I mean,
Oh my
I
God.
totally understand it not being for everyone. I loved it. Florida Project's like one of my favorite movies of all time, so I was like ready to be obsessed
Just
with this movie.
Perfect example of the kind of movie where you have to just in big bold letters underline depiction is not endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Seriously.
I mean, it's clear that Sean Baker.
It's clear that
said
Sean Baker does endorse it, but
Shut up. He said that he was going for like a 70s approach where you're depicting, immoral characters, but you're
Mhm.
not explicitly. I mean, it's pretty obvious that he's not endorsing it, but you know what I mean? He doesn't go out of his way to, cater to the audience.
Like the guy wins in the end, and like
Technically,
if you're
sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. And he said that one of the only things that was like him making a statement about the character is the title, because he compares him to a dog. It's the red rocket is a phrase for dogs.
Dog, yep.
So what he said was like the main. I don't know. Other than the
Yeah.
70s approach,
He's not like, yeah, not punished
It's-
enough to what you think it would be.
I just love that you said I was sweaty for your favorite movie of the year.
oh my god,
That should be a
my
pull
hands were
quote.
clammy and but it was hilarious, and then also
It
I'm like,
made me
why am I
sweaty.
laughing at this? Because this guy's an asshole.
Oh yeah.
I love that town that they're in with the the oil refinery that's
It's
just
in
like
every single
lingering.
shot. Yeah.
It's just so smart and subtle with some of the things it's saying, and I loved it. Number one.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm so happy all of our number ones were completely different.
yeah. I
feel
didn't even
like-
think about that.
I feel like for 2019 we had quite a bit of overlap in our
Mhm.
Yeah,
favorite
that's why this one
movies.
probably lasted so long. Is because we had so many different movies on this list.
Yeah,
a lot of diversity, a lot of similar ones, but a lot
Yeah.
of separate.
Yeah. And a lot to say about them.
Yes, indeed. All right, we only
Shout
have a few
out.
minutes left.
yeah.
Shout out what?
I was gonna say shout out Halloween Kills just because it has
Fuck Halloween
creates
Kills.
we got a great ghost song out of it, and that's what I
True,
Oh my
true.
God.
That's true.
I was
The
gonna
ghost
quickly say shout out to Shiva Baby. Great movie. It
Yeah.
gets
That's
the,
true.
The
Shiva Baby is
Jewish
great.
prize of the most Jewish film of the year award. Love it.
It has Cy Abelman, friend of
It
the
has
show.
Cy Abelman.
Let's call him up.
It's
Top
kind
10,
of
let's
based
go.
as a movie.
It is,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like more Jewish uncut gems, if that was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's accurate.
Isn't
That's
that
incredibly accurate.
another movie that kind of was like 2020,
Yeah.
but
It's
2021?
very late 2020, but didn't get like a decently wide release till 2021. It's one of those movies that a lot of like on here were just like it was on HBO Max, then taken off, and now it's back on. I would recommend it. It's only 78 minutes.
Yeah.
so,
Super
Okay.
good runtime.
yeah,
Nice.
definitely recommend it. It's fun. Watch it with your family,
I'm surprised.
preferably your Jewish family, or
What
just
else?
a Jewish family. It doesn't have to be yours.
True. Or, you know, you can convert, then watch the movie.
True.
I always
Simple.
go with the when could people watch it in a theater? And it's
Yeah.
like I tend to
Yeah.
err on that as to when something
Yeah.
is released. Sometimes I make
Except-
exceptions.
Except when you're talking about Under the Silver Lake, of course.
That's just a whole clusterfuck. You
That
can choose
is.
whatever year you want.
Yeah.
You could throw a dart at the
3 years in a
decade
row.
and you're possibly correct.
Yeah.
Some
Anyway.
movies we didn't talk about. Spider-Man. Quickly.
Spider-Man.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Shout out
Why'd you-
Toby. Passing I thought was interesting.
Passing's
I'm not
good.
familiar with the book, but I liked it quite a bit. Didn't crack the top 10.
Hmm.
Macbeth, Denzel.
Last Duel.
I liked that's another
Yeah, me too,
anthology.
yeah.
I'm
Last
gonna.
Duel,
sort of.
kinda.
My only shout out is gonna be Nightmare Alley's kind of underrated. It was like my 12. Nightmare Alley's great.
I'm gonna say underrated and deservedly so.
Oh.
Damn.
It's
I didn't see
fine.
that.
It's
Blow
fine,
to the
guys.
face.
This is Carney slander.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll admit it. I'm not afraid.
Not Carney pilled.
Yeah, so-
There's one movie that my aunt and uncle like really wanted me to watch. So it's called Blood Red Sky. It is a German movie about a group of terrorists attempting to hijack a flight, and it has zombies in it. And it is
Cool.
very bizarre. Didn't crack. I mean, it's
Oh,
not.
I've heard of this.
It's not
yeah.
towards the top of my list, but it's
Oh, crap, we
interesting.
got less than a minute.
That's the last one, I guess. I got.
All right. So that was
Closing
our
song.
20.
Go ahead.
Jesus, copyright strike. Thank you everyone for watching our best of 2021 ranked top 10, whatever you want to call it, movies of the year podcast. This has been great. Thank you to our two guests, Sanju and
Thanks
DJ.
for having me.
We'll see DJ again on the split take very soon. And leave a like, comment your favorite movies, whatever. Subscribe.
Ring the bell, ring the
it
bell.
helps the channel. And yeah, have an epic day.
Thanks for
Later,
having me on.
gamers.
Yeah.
Later.